Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Very Angry Dogs Werewolf the Forsaken stream. This is going to be the first chapter of the second story. We're joined by storyteller Chris Allen, Keith Miller, Pete Golasewski, and our new player, Ag, who is actually Chris's wife. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris now, who's going to give you guys a little recap of what happened at the end of story 1 and where we find ourselves in story 2.
Okay, well, hopefully you can all hear me. Yes, welcome to Story 2, Season 2 of Very Angry Dogs, a Werewolf the Forsaken Chronicle set in deepest, darkest Dorset. We're being joined today by my wife, Ag, who is playing a new character, and hopefully a new member of the pack. It will be turning up soon enough. And we've made a few changes at our end on this, around this as well, so I do apologise to any listeners if you do encounter a small baby crying, or quite a large baby these days, crying, running around, or hooting, because she is currently asleep next to us, and we've had to sort of change our setup in here a bit so that my wife can play as well. What happened last time? Well, the pack began as 3 American werewolves, all making their way to the Blackmore Vale in deepest, darkest Dorset due to a variety of reasons, coming together to lay claim on the old territory of a pure pack, the Kestrel's Children, whose last remaining member had been the great-great-aunt of Johnny Galloway, one of the pack, and he had inherited the estate that she had formerly owned. So the pack came together. They promptly ran in some not very friendly pure and were challenged to prove their worth through a hunt, which would be displayed before others as in a werewolf's funeral, if you like, for the great aunt at the end of the story. The pack sought out worthy prey. They found a twisted hive-claimed tree that budded with the heads of the forgotten dead. They slew they destroyed, I suppose, its guardians, slew the tree, and presented their trophy at the pack meet. There with Forsaken and Pure. They learned a little bit more about the nature of the Forsaken and Pure situation in Blackmore Vale, and they finished up with Stormbringer, the pack's Rahu, giving his chosen person he had decided to have a fight with, shall we say, Jonathan Dunstan. And at the end, there was some, I'd barely say, reconciliation between the two in terms of there was an acceptance from Stormbringer. It was a good fight, as Stormbringer and Dunstan had a pretty brutal throwdown, which Stormbringer did walk away victorious from. The pack have claimed themselves a totem, the Unconquered Raven, an old spirit of war and battle standards born over the centuries of war in southern England. They have claimed themselves a territory in the heart of the Blackmore Vale, stemming out from the estate of Kestrel Hall, spanning the surrounding farmland and a town called Gleesham. And they have begun to put down their roots, to consolidate, to dig in. Where the second story picks up is a month after the end of the first. The pack have spent that month clearing up Kestrel Hall, hiring some people in to help with that, living, getting on with the fundamentals of just getting on with life, from paperwork to small things like getting jobs and the like. It's been a quiet month for the pack in the aftermath of presenting their trophy to the other werewolves. They've been accepted by the other packs. Oh, and the tiny one has in fact spoken out right now, possibly. They've been accepted by the other packs. The Pure have held back. The enemy in the war between the Forsaken and the Pure have held back from attacking them. The other Forsaken have, extended some tendrils of communication and friendship, but it's been very tentative, and everyone has their own business to deal with. When we come back to the pack, it is a month later. It is in the full throes of spring. And anyone who knows about southern England weather in the full throes of spring, the trees are in glorious, fresh green. The entire countryside here is incredibly lush and fecund. The plants are, really thriving and growing. The weather is more or less random at any time of day. In the same day, you could have downpours of rain, hail, blazing sun, and howling winds at different times. And if Stormbringer is involved, you can also have random storms.
I didn't do it.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Some other werewolf summoned a storm and ran away. So it's a stormy, blustery, wet time, but a time of life and vigor, of life crawling out of winter's embrace to fully spring up for the year ahead. This story arc is called Possession. As always, content warning, occult horror, body horror, likely random outbreaks of ultraviolence because we're talking about werewolves. It is werewolf. Where we begin is actually with Thornbreaker. Thornbreaker, you've had quite the month. You haven't seen an awful lot of Jenny. She's not been standoffish per se with you after you talked. There was that brief talk about supernatural things being real. She's come in, she's continued to help Walker Gripper. But she wasn't even there for a couple of weeks because her family went off on a holiday during the spring holidays. So it's been, and she's been again thoughtful. Like she's obviously still going over the consequences and the kind of implications of what you said. You've also been busy with your new job. You work for a small delivery company that basically does that hauls the goods from some of the local breweries and distributes it to pubs. Around not just Blackmore Vale, but also wider Dorset. So sometimes you've gone out a bit way away from the territory by werewolf territory standards, even though it's barely an hour drive or whatever. You've been hauling these things, getting to know your co-workers, etc. And every time you've come back and you've helped put your oar in as well, but Stormbringer and his little team of maintenance guys he's brought on board have really been working well to clear the estate grounds, and it's slowly transforming. It's not transforming into the grandeur of an 1800s mansion garden, because that's a step beyond, but a lot of the undergrowth is being cut back. Some of the debris is being cleared away. The estate is starting to look like it could go somewhere. It's been a quiet time in many ways for you. Obviously, you've been stewing over the Uza matter, the cult who have been bothering Jenny. Your dreams have been quiet for a while. After the hunt, you had a powerful prophetic dream at the time. It was, however, it seemed very incoherent. You dreamed of light and silver and pain, not blood and not fleshly pain, but more like a cry in your mind, like something was being harmed, of something silvery and bright. But it never really came to something that made more sense than that. But this night, you have a prophetic dream that is more coherent, not necessarily more intelligible, but something with greater clarity. You see a cauldron, perhaps? A container? A cauldron? Maybe your perception changes between it being something of like black glass, almost obsidian, or maybe rusted, stained, corroded metal, like a cauldron, or a lid that is almost like a volcanic lid, and not something bubbling underneath, as if the earth is splitting, but it's something that there's like a lid or seal over it. And from under that lid boils up, seeps up chaos. Vermin, pain, people in distress, anger, smoke, this weird maelstrom. But it cannot boil over fully. The lid is held down, and you are aware that there is someone pinning it down perhaps as best they can. Muscular arms, as if a werewolf, perhaps in Dalu form, straining down to keep this thing pinned. There are chains. You're not sure whether the Dalu is chained to this pot, this earth, or whether the lid is chained down. It's not quite clear. This figure strains down. The arms are marked with what look like something like renown sigils, but they are bleeding, as if they are freshly cut rather than marked from the soul, as it were. This figure hangs with symbolic, I think emblems. They look like perhaps a shaman or someone of they're hanging with amulets and charms, but you can't really make out the details very well. They swing and stir in a wind that brushes against you, even though you're not sure if you're there. And as your view rises, you see this figure is in a mask, The mask is mostly blank, cracked. The faint impression, as if of sort of carapace of a face twisted and snarled, with horns rolling off it. But the eyes are burning fierce, very clear eyes, staring, glowering, somewhere between imperious and furious. And the impression you get is that this figure is crushing this lid down, but you're not sure whether they are trying to keep. They are a guardian trying to keep this sealed, or whether they are an aggressor crushing it down. Behind them, rising up behind them, is another figure. This figure is hard to make out. You get the impression of soil, earth, maybe the very earth that is being pinned down. But this figure seems that glutinous, dark form, but big, powerful, hanging back and over, looming over the Dalu, keeping this lid down. And this has a very similar mask, but far more intricate, demonic, fiendish mask with a rack of spiraling horns. It has things buried in its flesh, something keeps on trying to push out, you're not quite sure, and it stands above the Dalu. Around it is a circle of flittering silver butterflies, maybe, which it snatches one and crushes this thing in its hand. And with the silver it makes from that, silver ichor spills down, and it reaches down, and you see now the chains that bond the earth, that bond the cauldron, that bond the Dalu, all bond them back to this figure, and it smears the silver in the bloody wounds on the Dalu. And as it's doing so, as this silver light is crushed and extinguished, you feel a surge of... Well, the moon's messages are always hard to pass because you're making brief contact with an alien entity the size of a small planetoid. You said something that perhaps approximates to anger that is not stemming from these figures, but is coming from the source of the dream. And you feel the pain, the stark, fleshless pain of that crushing sensation from this dark figure's hand. That is almost the entirety of the dream. And you're coming out of it in pain, but you are looking closer as you're pulling away. You seem to fall into the cauldron, and you see some of the miasma of things coming out. And as stuff rattles, there are other forces here. There are things scuttling, whirring. Something unpleasant is also at work here that you can't quite put your finger on. You smell smoke. You smell fire. And you smell spilt blood, and then you are awake, with a lingering aftershock in your mind of the phrase, "Who's afeared?" When you wake, as ever, dissipating like vapor from your mirror, "Who's afeared?" is fading away. You know, I don't know what your room's like now, because this is a big mansion, but you've probably had the pick of what room you want within, Johnny's approval. And you've had time now to make your room a bit more yours. So rather than being a bare room with a simple bed in it, you've probably got some IKEA furniture or whatever. And I don't know if you've customized it all. But is Thornbreaker the kind of guy to have like the curtains fully closed? Block out that daylight until you're ready to go, or is he curtains open, let's see the morning light, let's go?
As somebody who has spent very much time outdoors and hiking up in the mountains and stuff, he's used to sort of getting up with the sun, so he has the curtains open typically. Okay,
well then the thing that becomes obvious immediately is that it is pitch black out there still. You have not woken up. There's that moment, why am I awake? And then you are getting the buzzing from your phone with Jenny's number on it. It says it's about 1:30 a.m.
Thornbreaker picks up the phone. Jenny?
At this point, out character, I need you to remind me what Thornbreaker's normal human name is.
Bill.
Bill. You get... Jenny is gabbling. right? Something has happened, and she is speaking too fast, like in a panic. I called you because I didn't know who else to call because Sarah's was there, and she's in a state, and you have someone who sounds quite scared on the phone to you, and you are having a very hard time initially passing what she's saying.
Slow down, calm down. I'll make a excuse me. I'll make a roll to try to calm her.
Okay, I think that's better of presence or manipulation, with either persuasion or empathy.
All right, so it's gonna be 4 dice for me. Two successes.
Okay, and hopefully, viewers, you'll be seeing the dice roller thing now popping up on our on the stream screen. We'll see. 2 successes. Okay, so you go. Hold on. Okay, it's a fine. You can calm down, slow down, and eventually, and she does. She is still scared, but she sort of gulps down enough breath to maybe slow down a little bit. There's my sister was out clubbing tonight, yeah, and she's well, look, I've got her in the shower, because she was covered in blood. It's not hers, but she doesn't. She saw someone get killed in like the Club Lose. So she saw someone die in the Club Lose, but it doesn't. She says they were, they were torn apart. Okay, there's this club. Okay, it's called Possession. It's in the middle of Gleesham, but it's a really seedy, shitty place as far as I know. And I told her she didn't go there, but it's. She was out the end of the night. She was just in the Lose, and there was another woman in there, just using, and she said rats. She said rats came out, and of the the cracks in the of rats came and just like. She said they chewed. They were closing down the club anyway, but she went. Sarah went out the fire exit because she thought the things were going to she said that and then there's a pause. Again, she's trying to wind up to it. They ate their way into this woman. She wasn't in a. She didn't. I haven't called the police or anything yet. She wasn't in a state. I've just got her in the shower because there was spatter on her. Not.
Okay.
Rats don't just eat people and turn.
These aren't normal rats. I have a good idea.
Fucking say.
I have a good idea of what this is. Your sister's very lucky. Clean her up. Do you need me to come there?
She's acting kind of. Well, I think she'll be okay. But I'm watching the. She said they were chasing her, the rats, out the door, and I'm just staring out this window down the street, and it's just reminding me of when the dog was around and stuff, and watching. What if they follow her?
I'll be there soon. With that, he hangs up the phone and he storms out and shouts, Jack, Johnny, Bechalou, move.
At the sound of Bechalou, whatever sleep Johnny is in, he just wakes up wide-eyed in bed and goes straight up.
Jack at the hearing Thornbreaker used his real name and not his deed name. is pulling on his pants with a shirt over his shoulder while running out the door of the bedroom with boots hung between his teeth, because for Thornbreaker to not say Stormbringer means shit's going down.
Yeah, he doesn't have the spare mental capacity to think about that shit. So
Yeah.
you guys are rolling out, basically.
Yeah, Johnny's getting out of bed with just pajama pants on, barefoot, no shirt.
I'm going to say, as well, in the month you've had, right, one of you has somehow managed to get hold of, like, a fairly cheap car, okay? We won't answer too many questions how. So that you can get to Gleesham without needing to, like, shapeshift and run. You can get a more conventional form of going there without ringing any alarm bells. So I presume it is throw clothes on, pile in car, drive to Gleesham, yeah?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, Chris, it probably would have been a pickup truck, and it probably would have been Stormbringer who got it, because I've been taking the driving lessons with Jenny.
Yes, and you will have
not
needed
Jenny,
its help
with,
with the...
What,
Mary?
Johnny knows this place and he hops in the back into the bed.
So yeah, you roll out, and across the nighttime countryside of Bishop Cleese, you head towards the constellation against the darkness that is Gleesham. The nearest part is Blankmarsh. She lives on the edges of the Blankmarsh developments, so it's relatively close. It's not going to take you very long to get there. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes at most. Ag, you are awoken from the sofa bed that you have been plonked on while you've been visiting your cousins. You can hear the sound of water running. There is some hushed, quiet conversation, and sounds like someone sobbing down the phone. Now, you know that your cousin, as once or twice removed where she is wolf-blooded. You don't think she knows you know, or that she knows much about werewolves in general, but you are aware she's wolf-blooded because of certain things that were said to you from the wider family. You're visiting. You're here. Your first port of call when coming to back to Gleesham to deal with business was to get someone to stay. So obviously you're staying with one of the branch of cousins that are still here, and Jenny's parents were quite happy to welcome you in. The word within the family. Again, this stuff is all very talked about in euphemisms and vagaries, and lots of people aren't quite sure. They are aware that your status in the family has gone up. They don't necessarily know what a werewolf is, but they're quite happy to have you in and on the sofa for a while until you find somewhere else to stay. I'm going to need a human form wits plus perception check, so wits plus composure plus 1 die for human form. To start with.
From who? From Ag?
From Ag, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll get to you guys in a bit. She's
no success, which is an
exceptional, which means I just need to get to the beat. Yes, because Ag's character has honed senses, so much like Johnny, she gets the 3 exceptionals on a thingy. So there's 4 of you now, which goes to 13, goes to 14. Okay, you basically shoot up off the sofa because there are two strong smells right now. One is human blood, which you are pretty sure is not either of your younger cousins, Jenny or Sarah, the family's 2 girls, but you aren't sure because you're in human form. And the the unpleasantly strong smell of rats.
Bad rats, not just regular rats.
You can't really tell, but bad. It's very strong smells of rats is itself unusual. So, so the smell really hits you hard, and basically, gives you the mental boot out of bed. Someone is in the shower. You think Jenny is on the phone somewhere in her room, has been talking quietly on the phone to somebody, and has just hung up. They don't seem to be aware you're awake there.
I roll out of bed as fast as I can and rush to Jenny. Is everything all right? I heard something.
She is properly wrong-footed by you being up and awake. Hi Marta. No, everything's fine. Sarah just got back, and you can see she's just frantically tried to dry the tears. Sarah just got back from a night of clubbing. She just she's just having a wash before she settles down.
I put a hand on her shoulder and I kind of, to stop her talking and say, Jenny, it's okay. You can tell me. I will help you.
And she's there, sort of trying to go. What do I say? Well, look, maybe something. Sarah ran into some trouble, and she just needs some time to clean herself up. Maybe you could make her like some hot chocolate or something.
Okay, I can do that. Can I check on her?
You probably best leave her for now, just till she's all cleaned up.
Okay. While I'm there by the bathroom, I'm trying to get a little sniff of if the rat scent is there, or is it just like?
It's very much on. You think it's on Sarah. Sarah came in with smelling a lot of rats.
I'm gonna go to the kitchen and start put the kettle on, and prepare the hot chocolate and stuff.
You get the impression Jenny was very pleased with herself that she just deflected you off by giving the older of the cousin, a job to do. So you're there, you're going down, you're turning the kettle on, finding out what the hell's going on, when there is the noise of a vehicle pulling up outside. Now, the street that that Jenny lives on is just terraced houses, but they're not crap terraced houses. They're just sort of normal. Really, there's nothing special about small gardens. So you pull up in the pickup, find somewhere to park. Yeah, in the middle of the night. It's not like there's anyone going to come to give you a ticket for parking in the wrong place. So
Chris, before the truck even
flair,
stops,
because Jack is still a relatively new driver, he accidentally jumps the curb and leaves the front tire up on the curb.
Yeah, yes. So you hear inside. You hear Marta hears the bonk of something pulling up. There's
I'm gonna make
just outside.
I'm gonna make an athletics roll. Yeah, before the truck stops moving, Thornbreaker is gonna be out of the truck. So that's gonna be athletics. I'm assuming strength.
No, there's no need for a roll for that. You can just
okay. All right. So yeah, before the truck even jumps the curb and stops, he leaps out of the bed of the truck he's been riding in.
My thought was actually that Jack was gonna jump out of the truck and then remember that he forgot to put it in park and get back in the truck. But then I figured that would be a little too comical, and this is a serious moment.
Sure.
Obviously, Marta, you peek out the curtains. There's this pickups and three guys are coming out. Well, are there three guys? Is Johnny and a doggy since he was in the back, or is he human?
No, I'm pure. I'm human.
Okay.
I was actually going to turn to Thornbreaker after we get out. Really important. Did her sister get bit? Did a rat get into her in any way?
I don't know yet. He turns. He walks up and he slams on the door several times.
I will open the door.
Okay.
Okay, Jack, Stormbreaker's
the house, and some random guys have just come in, and I'm a werewolf. If they were normal guys, I would just rip them apart, right? Or at least scare them. So
Stormbringer is going to walk the perimeter of the house.
Yeah. Okay. So as this happens, we're gonna do this thing, which I've realised, listener and viewers, that we didn't actually do it the first thing. We never actually talked about what the characters look like. So, with the three guys, obviously Stormbringer is peeling away, but we'll get the descriptions in now. What do the characters all actually look like? Just brief descriptions.
So Thornbreaker is Caucasian, 5'11", scraggly, unkempt sort of hair. He doesn't pay too much attention to his appearance, but he's very lean and muscular. It looks like he's got like a mountain climber's physique. And he tends to wear his jeans are ripped up. It's like he really does not pay attention to whether or not he's blending in with normal humans around him.
Okay.
I'll go next for Johnny. Johnny's slightly shorter than Thornbreaker. He stands at 5'10", black hair that he keeps a little better nowadays since he has to be dealing with the proper folks of Dorset. He right now wears white t-shirts, jeans, and probably like Converse sneakers. He's very lit. He's not as muscular as Thornbreaker. He's on the skinnier side of things.
Okay. And what's
Hi, small
Stormbringer?
child.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes, and here's a small child.
I was waving to the small child. So Stormbringer is he's gonna be he's the biggest of the group. He's about 6'2". The best way to describe his physical build as a former rugby player and a Rahu and just a generally big dude, is Brick Shithouse. He's very broad-shouldered, very muscular. He does not look like the guy who moves quickly, but does. In terms of physical description, he's kind of got this constant 5 o'clock shadow. He could shave that morning, and within an hour, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow again. But it never really seems to get much longer than that. He's got short black hair, not a crew cut, but that length that's like he doesn't have to do anything to it to make it look like it's styled. It's just the way his hair naturally is. Blue eyes, and just looks like the kind of guy that you wouldn't want to run into in a dark alley. But at the same time, if you ran into him in the daylight, you'd be like, oh, that's just a guy, he looks like a construction worker is the best way to put it. Right down to the way he dresses, flannel shirt, blue jeans, maybe a hole in the knee or whatever, and a pair of work boots. Very salt of the earth kind of guy.
And on the other side of the door is Marta. So what does Marta look like?
Marta is medium weight, medium height, really, for a woman. She has short blonde hair that is sort of buzz cut on the sides and is longer on the front, and it's sort of in a disarray a bit because she just woke up. And also blue eyes. She doesn't look very remarkable physically. She's in a t-shirt and pants.
Yeah. Now, the thing that is immediately evident to the people who are within a couple of yards of one another is as well as this faint smell of blood and rats, is that there is now a very strong smell of werewolves.
Johnny.
Marta opens the door, all ready to go, like, the fuck you want and get out of here stuff. And then she catches the scent of the werewolf and pauses for a moment, going,
Chris, while walking around the house, once he gets around the side of the house, Stormbringer's gonna shift up into Dalu for the increased perception without, really kind of alerting anybody to the fact that there's a wolf now walking around the house.
Can you give me a perception check then, which is wits plus composure plus the perception bonus for Dalu, which I think
certainly
is +2.
can.
And then the other guys.
Is it +2? I thought it was +1.
Is it +1 or +2 for being Dalu? And then and the others will.
I nerfed my perception check. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I take that back. I forgot we get a +1 in Hishu.
Yeah. So so at the front door then is this somewhat surprised. The other two are faced with an unknown werewolf essentially.
One success.
I look back into the house to see what Jenny is doing, and if she is in the earshot.
Stormbringer, with your one success, you are not picking up any rats or anything like that, and that's unusual around. So whatever's come in hasn't come out, if anything has come in.
Okay.
So, seeing another werewolf and smelling another werewolf, Johnny's going to raise an eyebrow and be like, there's more important things to deal with than a werewolf coming to my territory unannounced.
This is your territory, huh?
Yeah.
Is Jenny's house within our territory?
Yes, it is. Although in Ag's case, in Marta, for yours, you went straight in here on a car. You didn't sort of check the boundaries you're coming in, especially because, as far as you are aware, this town is someone else's territory, which is why you're here. But yeah, there's that. So there's still that current thing of Ray, and then at the top of the stairs behind Marta, Jenny peeks around and goes, "Oh, is that? Hey, Bill, are you down there? Oh, it's okay, Marta. It's just and then she's like, how the fuck am I going to explain this? Just a friend of Sarah's come to check on her.
I look at Jenny and I totally don't believe your face. Are these your friends?
Sarah's friends, yeah.
Sarah's friends.
Mm-hmm.
I am not letting them in. I'm still standing in the doorway. Look back at them, saying. Just sort of eyeing them and going, Friends of the Moon?
What did you say?
They are pure, I'm fighting them.
Oh, yeah, see, yeah.
Johnny wears a Hunter in Darkness tattoo on his left bicep.
So presumably you sort of show that slightly in response to the question.
Thornbreaker has the Blood Talons tattoo on his chest, so he pulls his loose-fitting
Has
shirt
Jack
down
come
to
back
show.
around yet?
Yeah, you're now coming round to see this little
Right.
standoff at the front.
So I see them show their tattoos, and Jack pulls down and reveals his Stormlord tattoo.
Okay, you can come in.
Okay, so you have the slightly awkward thing of these
I-
three guys piling in.
I hold up
Um,
a hand, and then gesture to her, like prove you're not one of the pure.
Oh, yeah,
She
I
asked
don't
us
have
for,
any
as far as
tattoos.
I'm concerned, she just told us to prove that we weren't pure. So now I'm let's see it.
Well, since I don't have any tattoos, I'm gonna let the other two come in, then sort of stand so that Jenny can't see me, if possible, and flare my renown brand.
Baby does not want to be put down. Okay, so you're flaying renown brands. You're gonna have to wait until Jenny's popped away because it's not hard to. Which renown are you flaring?
Honor.
Okay, so you gain the condition for that, which we're going to. But yeah, she's just flared around, and they are silver brands, not red. So she's branded.
I nod and shift down into Hishu as I walk through the door.
Okay, as the
But I
brands
actually fit through the door.
so the brands begin to dimag. I'll tell you about the condition, or you can check it yourself. But right now, I have this small clinging creature on me who doesn't want to go down. Okay, so you sort of file into the living room. The parents are still asleep, thank God, amidst all this. As you have 4 werewolves now in a small room. Jenny comes down, looking slightly kind of like again shell shocked. Bill, yeah, it's the other guys. Hey, hi guys, she says to the others.
Jack's gonna push his way into the kitchen and start making a pot of coffee.
Okay. Well, it's hot. There was stuff half made. The kettle has just boiled and in there. Someone's obviously
Oh,
just been
fantastic.
at work in there. I'm now being menaced by a whole circus of small people. All right, away with you, kitten. Be gone. Yeah. So Jenny stands there in that slightly awkward way of like, I've got to figure out what to say to everyone here, and then she looks like funny because again. Marta isn't wearing many clothes, right? So the Nambrand's throwing is still, there's a faint shimmer. So she's there, and Jen's like,
I quickly leave the room, and I kind of, maybe I should get some clothes up. I forgot about this
okay.
because I thought they'd there and then they
Wait, and
died
she's
out.
like- she looks at you guys and looks like, do you know each other?
What's the roll to lie? Just flat out lie.
It would
Subterfuge
be
and
manipulation plus subterfuge, but the penalties in this might be quite high if you just say we have no idea who this person is.
No, that's fine. Sternberger's gonna look at Jenny, who looks horrified at the renown flaring, and just say, "Must be the lighting."
So,
He's lying through his teeth, just coming up with the shittiest possible explanation for this, just to kind of break the awkwardness and move the conversation past it.
Yeah, there's no roll for that because it's such a blatant lie that it's just like,
100%.
okay. So you say that she's like, but you, okay, Bill.
I look at the other two real quick and nod, like, agree with me. Come on, guys, don't leave me high and dry.
I'm
These
gonna go
guys-
with the Men in Black, like swamp gas.
So
I hit Johnny just to be sure.
Jenny looks at Thornbreaker and goes, "So Bill, you what you said to me?" She looks at the other two guys. They know all that too.
he nods.
Okay. Well, the best. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was on the phone. Obviously, Marta can hear this as well from the next room, pulling like some goes on. But from what Sarah said, these rats, they literally. She said they came out. They came out of somewhere. That like there was. No, they just came out of nowhere, and they killed this woman. They ripped into her, and she said that the woman was staggering around, like, screaming, and then was coming. That she said the woman was calling after she went. She said that she couldn't have been alive because the rats had been all over her. And then she ran, but she said the rats, the way they said the rats looked at her, and I like really like they said they like there was something behind the eyes, and it reminded me of like what I said about the dog and things watching me when the users were being a pain when they were calling me a witch, and it, I don't know. I think it might be something like that. Like they're there, and you can see she's really trying to, especially in front of the other two. She's not talking about this one. You know, she's trying to get up the courage or sort of self. You know, say, I think there might be magic animals, magic rats. Could someone make rats kill somebody?
It's very complicated.
I'm gonna look in the liquor cabinet for some whiskey. Jenny's about to have her first shot to calm her down.
There is a small amount. Obviously, the parents have gone through a fair bit themselves, but you're able to.
Right.
Pour
Jack's gonna grab
amount.
He's gonna grab an extra coffee cup for Jenny, pour whiskey in it, and hand it to her and say, "Drink."
Okay, so as Marta, as you come back, you see Jenny looking at this tiny thing, looking at it, and then like knocking back, and then looking like disgusted by the flavour. She's obviously not ready for this kind of stuff.
It's very complicated, and it's too much for tonight. It could be one of.
But what if they
two
come after?
things.
So whoever made them, if someone made them do that, then they saw, Sarah got away, and they might come for her.
That's why we're here, to make sure that you'll be safe. You don't need to worry about that. I will need to
We have
talk to
sleeping bags in the
Sarah.
truck.
I will need to talk to Sarah when she's cleaned up.
But you can't stay in here and sleep because my parents are going to wake up in the morning, and then I can't really explain all you lot being here.
Jenny,
It's going to be hard enough explaining it to Marta. As I presume Marta's coming back in at this point.
You can tell your
we have
folks.
sleeping bags in the truck. We'll stay out there.
You can tell your folks we're a friend of Marta's.
That remains to be seen.
I glare at her.
Why for now?
I glare at her. Kind of squinty eyes.
After a moment,
Challenging me on my territory.
Thornbreaker says, "You seem to be friendly with Jenny.
Cousin.
You're her cousin. Well, if you're Jenny's family, then we are your friends."
Yeah, Marta's my cousin from the well, the family tree's a bit kind of confused really, but maybe another time we could talk about that. I don't know. Upstairs the shower had stopped.
Stormbringer is going to point the thumb at Johnny and look at Jenny and go, "Trust me, we get the whole confused family tree thing."
And I do turn to Jenny. Has she been complaining of stomach pain or anything like that since she got home?
No, she was just like she was. I mean, she was having a hard time just speaking. She was just, there was stuff all over her, like, and it wasn't just blood. It was like bits of this other woman, like just gristle and looked like she'd
Where
run
did
through
this
a
happen?
abattoir.
I'll go upstairs, check on her. I don't think 3 random men are going to help the situation.
Where did this
Okay,
happen?
So Marta heads up and she goes, "There's a nightclub called Possession. It's like it's a shitty place, to be honest, but it's they were just closing up for the night and kicking everyone out. Sarah went to the loos, and you get the thing that she's weighing up whether to say something or not, and then like obviously this situation is so fucked up, she might as well. I think she was just hoping to score maybe a last hit while she was in there. I don't know if the woman who the rats got was the dealer or not, but she went into the loos. This woman just and she went out the fire exit. She didn't hang around. So I mean, I don't know what's if everybody. Anyway, yeah. So it was in the loos of the club.
Jack's going to look at his watch, and then pull up, look at Johnny and tell him to find out where this club is. I think I'm going to leave Thornbreaker here as a guard, and Johnny and I will go check out the club. Just from a distance, obviously, we don't know what we're walking into yet. And after his almost botched attempt at beating down Dunstan, he's a little more cautious than just let's plow in. So Johnny's going to go scout. Stormbringer will be his backup, and with Thornbreaker here, he can kind of give. Stormbreaker's going to give you the nod of, hey, give this Marta the third degree about walking into our territory without declaring herself, and because I'm obviously Stormbreaker's pissed about it, but he cares about Jenny enough to let it slide for now. You and I, the two of you, the Stormbringer and Thornbreaker, have talked about this group that's harassing Jenny. and the fact that he wants them dead, and you're saying we'll just run them out of town. You know, Stormbringer kind of takes the big brother approach to everybody in our territory, all the humans and whatnot. So you're going to give Marta the third. He's kind of giving you give her the third degree. Find out what her story is. We're going to go check this out. You stay here for Jenny, type thing.
Okay, so you guys are just talking that over. Marta, you head upstairs. You know, pop the shower open. Sarah is got in a dressing gown and is about to come out. She is obviously been crying. She's mostly clean. There's a little bit of like organic muck spattered around the bath where she soaked herself off for everyone. And she's like, but you've recognised something like. I mean, she's basically going into sort of a shock of some sort. One thing, a quick note: when you smell her, she does not smell currently of blood or rats after having scrubbed herself down, and there doesn't, from what brief you see, doesn't seem to be like injuries on her, like a hole anywhere that a rat's got into. She looks like she's now just going into, she's withdrawing into mind, going like, I saw this, she's Marta, I saw, and she doesn't even like pretend like Jenny to go nothing wrong. She's like, I saw this woman get like eaten by rats, but already what she's saying is starting to sort of just like she saw a woman get attacked by rats, but she's not even really talking about that. Oh, and they watched me and they followed kind of stuff like, oh, they followed me. She's just kind of, her mind is, to be honest, what she probably really needs is sleep, and then what she's going to be like in the morning, you don't know. But she is not wolf blooded. So she's going to mentally, and then she basically cries against you for a bit, and then you hear the door closing downstairs, and by the time you get back down, then two of the other werewolves have gone, leaving just Thornbreaker. So, scene-wise, do we want to do a scene of what was your character's deed name again? Harmonious Flame.
Harmonious Flame.
Do we want to do Harmonious Flame and Thornbreaker scene, or do we want to do the other two at the club first?
Let's give Ag some scream time since she's the newcomer.
So
100%.
Marta comes back down. So Thornbreaker, there are no screams, of oh my god, there's rats upstairs. So presumably Sarah, whatever's up with her, has passed the sniff test of does not have rats riddling her flesh.
Oh, I also checked the bathroom to make sure that there are like no, I don't know, live bits of Bashilu in the shower.
Oh, right.
or
No,
anything like that.
the organic muck appears to be tiny fragments of somebody's viscera. Of humans.
Okay, I'll clean that up.
You.
Anyway, no one needs to see that. And then I come down.
Okay, yeah. So Sarah's off to bed and is,
Tucked in bed.
Jenny's sat down with Thornbreaker, looking somewhere between guilty, excited, and horrified.
I come down.
As you come down, Jenny is just saying, Thornbreaker, I've talked. I mean, I suppose I've talked to rats before. They don't do that. Why would they do that? Someone must have made them do that. That's the kind of thing she's saying as Marta comes back.
They're not normal rats.
Jenny, do you think you could make sure that Sarah is properly asleep while I talk to your friend here?
Okay. And she's looking at you again, oddly. You're no longer brightly glowing or anything, but she's still like something's and then she's off upstairs.
Okay. I sit myself opposite to Thornbreaker, and take a mug of whatever coffee that has been made.
All right. So he takes a mug of coffee as well, and he says, "Your name is Marta, yes?"
Yes, my name is Marta Strojek, or Harmonious Flame.
My name is Bill, but you can call me Thornbreaker.
Why are you here? I thought this territory belonged to someone else.
We've held this territory for
Area.
about a month now.
Just because. So, Ag, since you've arrived, obviously you know that you've heard the old wolf is dead, but the other person whose territory you believe this is, since you arrived, which is probably just within the last week, probably last 2 days, you have seen signs that they are still, and in fact you've done the Googling and stuff, they are still here and in this area.
So you claim this town, or what? Where does the boundary go?
He explains the rough boundaries of their territory.
Do they claim the whole town?
Yes,
as well?
yes, the town is entirely inside their territory.
Okay, and you've had no run-ins with another werewolf? There's a werewolf living here
You said a
in
singular?
this town.
A singular werewolf?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, you would think that it is just a singular werewolf. He's been a menace here since I used to live here, some time ago, obviously.
We haven't had the misfortune of coming across him yet.
Well, it looks like... No, I don't know. He wouldn't work with Bashida, would he?
Unknown. All you know is what I've told you, really, about how he. Because again, since everything Jenny's told you, it sounds like the same operations are in place, exactly the same thing you encountered, but you never saw. But would you have known? You were wolf-blooded at the time. Would you have known
Yeah.
Bashida were involved?
Well, I asked Jenny. She, from what she told me, he is still here, and his stupid workings are still here as well. So
Is he and
you're not
Shega?
looking after your territory very well.
Thornbreaker raises.
No, he's not. He's a ghost wolf.
Raises his brow when she says you're not taking care of your territory very well, and he quietly cracks his knuckles.
From your alpha, do not take that disrespect.
You said this Uratha is a menace,
Yes.
and yet you trust your cousins to be here alone?
No, that's why I'm here. I've only just arrived.
How long have you been gone?
Oh, like 30 years. We used to live at the
Less than 30.
Yeah,
30
it's-
is much less than 30. More like 10 at most. 10 to
Oh yeah,
15.
because we used to live in the village before. Yeah, so like 10 years. We used to live in the old witches. Yes, thank you, baby. Damn it, a property. In one of the cottages, but she kicked us out. Then we lived here, and then we moved away.
And
My father.
the old witch tolerated this ghost wolf?
Yeah. Apparently, she didn't care.
Interesting. In any case,
I don't know if they had a deal or something, or did she just think that, she just didn't care what he did. I don't know. I was just I wasn't
Yeah, and you never met the old wolf yourself because you were tiny when they were left at the cottages, and then you were wolf-blooded in town. Never encountered her person. You just heard of her through the family.
from what I know of Clarice, not caring what people do in her territory didn't seem to match her modus operandi. More likely they had some sort of agreement in place. She seemed fond of those. Are you in agreement with me that the Becherloo seemed like the most likely culprit for the attack that Sarah witnessed?
Yes. Doesn't seem like normal rats.
Were you able to figure out if Sarah knew the victim personally?
No, she's completely. She's not able to answer any questions at the moment. She's out of it, and by the time she wakes up, lunacy will take hold. She won't remember much. She might be able to say if she knew the person, but we won't get any more details from her about the attack.
I only ask because she, from what I can tell, she said that they called out to her. I want to know if they knew of her specifically and if there's a likelihood that they will target this family.
Well, if there is, then I'm staying here for now, if you allow, and I will look after them.
He smirks when she says, "If you allow," and he says, "I already told you, you're Jenny's family, which makes us friends."
Good to hear that.
As you can tell, I've begun to peel back the curtain for Jenny. I haven't told her much, aside from the fact that werewolves exist, because unfortunately she's seen things that would lead her to believe as much, and that there's more and darker things behind the curtain that most humans get to see. I intend to eventually fully bring her into our society, but it will take time. I don't want to overwhelm her.
She's very young and she has her own sort of problems, but yeah. If you intend to bring her to your pack, then that's possibly a good idea. Thanks,
knows.
Molly.
That is my intention. Do you intend to stay here long term?
I would like to. There's this werewolf I want to deal with now that I am one myself, and then there's some other stuff that I want to research here.
I will have to talk to my packmates, but if you're going to be sticking around, and since you have a vested interest in protecting another would-be member of our pack, then we will likely extend the invitation to you as well.
Okay. That's very generous of you.
Do you have a connection to any of the tribes?
Yes, I'm an Iron Master.
We do not yet have an Iron Master in our pack.
I could bring some unique talents here.
He nods.
Although it is the middle of nowhere, I don't know how much of my Iron Master powers can be utilized.
It would be useful for certain hunts, to be sure. Where is Jenny at this point?
Still upstairs. You can hear her. She's just finished quietly talking to Sarah and has just closed the door to Sarah's bedroom again. So she's just sort of starting to come downstairs.
Would you like to explain to her roughly what her sister witnessed, or should I?
Maybe you've been talking to her already.
He nods.
Jenny quietly creeps downstairs, comes into the living room, looks blinks owlishly at the two of you. She's sleeping now.
Good. She needs the rest.
Is Thornbreaker sitting on like a couch?
Yeah, some sort of sofa.
So he scooches over on the sofa and he pats the empty seat next to him for her to come sit down.
She plonks down, slightly curled up, because she's feeling a bit,
We can talk freely, he says, looking momentarily at Harmonious Flame and then back to Jenny.
She looks at you.
I nod.
There's some weird stuff in our family I knew. Do you talk? Can you hear? She sort of, that constant faltering, because she feels like she sounds really stupid saying it. Can you talk to animals too?
Not exactly.
No, but I used to be able to hear things. Weird things.
Okay.
It's slightly different now, but I know what you mean. It
So
feels strange.
You and Bill both know about this stuff, then?
Not.
Do you remember how I told you that werewolves are real?
Yeah. She looks at you, and the fact that you're. Wait, are we like? Is this some sort of Harry Potter shit? Is this some sort of family of wizards or something?
Not exactly. I told you that werewolves are real, but what I haven't had a chance to tell you yet is that they're not all caricatures of horror movie monsters. There are good werewolves and bad werewolves to oversimplify the situation, just like
Wait,
there
am
are...
I a werewolf then?
Not exactly.
Because that wouldn't have made any sense. I've never like turned into an animal or anything. That would be weird.
Being a werewolf is something in your blood. It's something you inherit. But for some people, it's not a dominant gene. It's something they carry, but they'll never become themselves, but they might pass on. Those people we call wolf-blooded. You're wolf-blooded. I
okay.
and Marta and my friends, we're werewolves.
Oh, so they get like a no shit kind of reaction. What, really?
He nods.
She's like a bit, kind of obviously. You think maybe she wants to sort of call bullshit, but then there's enough weird stuff going. Oh, thank you, Kitty. I told you to go. You need to go away. Go and eat your ice cream and stuff. She subsides a bit. Goes, okay. So, and she points upstairs to the general Sarah. So is she like as well, or what?
No. Only you inherited the gene.
So what happened tonight? What's going on?
Werewolves are just one part of a much bigger world that you're now starting to peer into. Behind our world, there's a shadow world, if you will. We call the beings that live there spirits, and they're sort of reflections of our world. Sometimes something from our world will accidentally cross into there, or something from their world will accidentally cross here, or purposefully cross here. And the good werewolves...
So it's like Stranger Things then?
Yes, it's like the Upside Down.
But what... So... But why did the rats attack?
I'll get there. I know this is a lot to process. The good werewolves have sworn an oath to protect the barrier between our world and theirs. Some spirits don't like that and resent the good werewolves, and some spirits want to prey on humans. One such spirit, or type of spirit, I'll say, is called a Becheloux. Becheloux are swarming rat spirits that try to attack and take control of humans. That's why the woman who should have been dead was chasing after your sister, because the Becheloux had gotten inside of her and taken control of her. I don't know why they chose that woman, and I don't know why they were chasing your sister yet, but we're going to find out why, and we're going to deal with it.
That's really fucked up. And on that note, so Johnny and Stormbringer. So, driving quietly through the streets of Gilcum, the heart of Gleesh.
Johnny's in Dalu form, head out window, taking in the sense of the city.
Yeah, it's mostly, you're passing some office buildings, not going on the high street itself. So we have a whaley baby. I think the baby's going to be ceasing her wailing in a moment, though. And you're driving through, cruising through the town. It's quiet. There are a last few stragglers coming home from clubs or pubs, mostly sloshed enough that they are not really paying an awful lot of attention. They're paying more attention to one another than to a couple of weirdos in a pickup truck driving past. It is you see at least one person slightly double take. Because I'll go be honest, a pickup truck driving through the middle of town at 2:00 in the morning is a bit odd, especially if you look close enough and see one of the guys leaning out the window looks a bit, really weird. But hey, Are you driving around trying to find you got your Google on your phone? Go, where is it? Okay, here it is, right? And you turn on down a street, which is all mostly quiet, but at the end is Possession. The front of the place is there's a little. It's the top of the building. You're not sure what it is. The entrance on the front floor. You imagine maybe it goes down. Not quite sure, but there's just a little door. The sign Possession by it. It's lit, but it's closed. Obviously, it's past the opening hours now, and there's no one out front. Obviously,
No, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, Chris. We're going to park, a good bit down the block and walk.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave my truck where they can infest it.
Yep. So you park up, you walk down through the cool night air. There's a tiny baby trying to. No, she's not going to the desk. Good. So I thought we were about to be menaced by babies under the desk. But you can get around. So you've got a couple of options. You can try and just go up to the front and see if they'll let you in or ask. But they're closed up, and they'll probably take those questions quite strangely. Now, from what Jenny said, Sarah went out a fire door at the back, presumably near where the ladies' loos are. So the good odds that the evidence you're looking for are more likely to be around the back, and also easier to access. But up to you how you want to tackle this.
How tall is the building?
It's not very.
Is it like a bunch of single stories?
It's 2 stories tall.
Okay.
The upper the ground floor basically doesn't really have any windows. The upper floor has some on one side, but they're not very big.
Is it
And they're meant to
standalone,
go.
or is it like in a row of stores type?
It's in a row, and it's on the end basically.
Okay.
Johnny's gonna go around the back.
I'm gonna look at Johnny. Go around the back. I'm going up, and I'm gonna look for a fire ladder or something to get up alongside one of the other buildings, and then I'm gonna make my way over across the rooftops.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a stealth roll. Sorry.
Yeah. You can make a stealth roll. Give me a perception check for Johnny as well. Stormbringer, what's your athletics?
3.
Okay, so no need for odds. So, but you go down. There's no convenient one for the club, but as you go down some of the back areas, you find another shop with a little alleyway where they have and there's another. On top is something else, some sort of little not club, but a small business in the upper floor as well. And there's a little side thing. And while it doesn't go up to the roof, you climb up. And well, if I just hop top of the door frame, foot on the railing here, up, you can clamber up onto the roof without any really big issues.
Okay. Yeah, as I got 3 athletics and 4 strength. I think I can make that jump.
It was more a question of like, is it viable for you? And yeah, you can absolutely give yourself the hoik up to get up there, no problems. Okay. So you're then on the roof. So Johnny,
all right, once I get to the roof, I'm going to shift to Dalu.
2 successes on my perception roll, and I'm about to make my stealth roll. I'm using my fading merit to add 3 dice to my stealth roll as well.
Okay. Stormbringer, if you can give me a perception check as well for your rooftop rendezvous.
Certainly can.
5 successes, exceptional success. 1
Jesus.
the pot.
Okay, so you are.
I don't see shit.
So, Johnny,
you know what? Can I throw a willpower on that? Is that allowed?
Not after you've made the roll. No, you have to burn
Got it
before you.
That's right. I have to do it beforehand. Okay.
So Johnny, you slink silently around the back, and you are absolutely. You are content that no one's going to spot this shadow slinking past as you sniff, and you pick up the scent almost immediately. Leading up to the fire door, which is closed. I mean, you might be able to pop it open, but it is obviously it's being closed. You can smell human blood. Again, better in Dalu than in human. You can smell. It's very clearly someone bled out a lot, and in fact, you can smell from there's a lot more than blood. There's also viscera and mixed in with it. You can smell rats very strongly. Now, casting around, you very quickly, the scent comes out from under the door, down the steps onto this back park area, wobbles kind of through, kind of smearing slightly on places as it goes, and then starts to straighten up more, and then beelines off into the darkness. Stormbringer, you're up on the top sniffing around. There's all sorts of smells up here coming out the pipes and things, including smell of various drugs on the air quite extensively from the stuff lingering out of the club, and it's just covering everything else. You're like, if there were rats on the roof, you wouldn't know,
All right. Just for the record, there are 2 things that Stormbringer hates: the Pure and drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
But pretty much.
Yeah, there's obviously, while it's not it's not a drug den. There is definitely people have been smoking quite a lot, not taking other drugs, and it's still lingering, and it's just clawing with your nose. Yep, Johnny.
Johnny's gonna throw his senses across the gauntlet.
Okay. Right, you throw across into the other side. Oh, you pick them. Yeah, so you shove them across. In the back alley, the club is a sort of slumped thing of obviously brick and gristleness. There are oozing things oozing out of it. Emotions, slick parts of emotions of lust and oblivion and all these kind of things. People going and like knocking them. Going out for pleasure to forget stuff and the like. It's a den of emotional spirits. Although it is now quieting. The lights are dimming. Smoke fumes out of it in breaths. Sort of strange hallucination, as if it's breathing slightly. Out the back here, in the car park, there are no vehicular spirits here at the moment, but strange tarry spiders are picking around over some fragments of some bits of small fragments of vehicle flesh. It is otherwise largely quiet, apart from one spirit poised up on the sleeping. The sort of the bin area has the sort of sleeping impression of the bins, and poised up, hunched up on it, is a spirit of black inkiness, with lamplight eyes, and as you've seen several times, this weird sort of demonic mask with horns on it. It's just watching slowly. You don't think it's looking? It's not looking across the gauntlet. It's just poised there.
So if it's not looking across the gauntlet, it can't see me, and I can't communicate with it right now because I'm not on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna make a mental note of that. Is the Unconquered Raven with us?
He can be if you want him to be.
Probably good to have another set of eyes on the shadow.
Okay. Like he's probably up. As Stormbringer's nosing around, you hear the raven flutter down nearby in twilight and land on top of one of the vent stacks.
All right. Can you communicate with that fear spirit? And I point to its general vicinity. I don't know if it can. I don't think the Raven has a gauntlet breach, so I don't even think it can.
No. So presumably Stormbringer, you've poked your head over the top to say you haven't found anything up there.
Mm-hmm.
The Raven peeks down as well.
I'm going to start making my way down off the top of the building.
Yeah, which is easier than getting up, especially someone with your capabilities. So you just hop down on a couple of things onto the bins near where the spirit is actually, then hop down onto the ground. The Raven flies down. I would need to be on the other side of the gauntlet.
Figured. On my side, is there a window as opposed to the fire door? Because I'm assuming there's no sort of handle on this.
There are some small windows. The fire door itself, you might be able to jimmy open. There are some small windows slightly cracked open to let the humid smell from inside a club night of sweat and people sort of still oozing out of it.
Keith, do you pack tools into the truck?
I would assume I'd have some basic tools in there. It's the whole idea of the truck is to be able to move materials and work on the house. So I'm gonna go kind of figuring what he's asking. If I have tools in the truck, I'm gonna go grab a pry bar and a small sledge, and I'm gonna pop the door.
Yeah.
Fireman's training coming into play.
Give me a strength plus athletics roll with a +2 bonus for the tool.
Give me 1 second. Strength is 1 higher. 2 successes.
Okay, so you get back, and in a short while you've got cracked open. This is not, the security on this isn't great. This has obviously not been, it's not exactly Fort Knox around here. So you pop it open and you're in the back. So you're in a sort of the yellowish false light of Stark bulbs. You're in a dingy back corridor, which kind of goes past the loos on the left and then winds its way around out of your sight. And there are some quiet noises in the background that sound like someone hoovering possibly and things, but there's no one is back here at the moment.
I'm going to just, for the purposes of making sure my hands are clear, I'm going to put the hammer that I brought through the hammer loop, and I'm going to hand Johnny the crowbar.
Take
Okay.
it. I'm gonna make my way over to the bathroom. Chris, out of game question. First edition, I know if werewolves tasted blood, they get a tracking bonus. Is that still the case in second?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make
It's
sure.
useful to have someone's blood taste. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get over to Luz. I'm not entirely convinced that this woman that had rats explode out of her is dead, quote unquote. So I want to see if I can get.
Chris, I'm gonna just really quickly because we hear somebody obviously in the building. 2 successes on stealth to kind of move quietly throughout the building.
Yeah. Okay. So you sneak in and you crack open the women's toilets and you go in. It's dingy club toilets. The plastic stuff is cracked. It's seen better days. 2 things obviously hit you immediately. First is the much strong smell of rats and blood on the air. There are. The place, however, is remarkably lacking carnage. You're not sure if what's been, what may have cleaned it up or like, but initial impression is you are pretty sure someone got thoroughly ratted in here. There is a lingering scent of someone. Obviously, there's loads of people's smells. This place has been seeing women coming in and one out. It smells of piss and shit as well. But there is another smell that slightly smells like sour and off, but that's your initial impression. If you want to go over the scene, it will be investigation rolls, int plus investigation or wits plus investigation, to really sort of scour over the ladies' loos.
All right.
It's high class stuff here.
I'm gonna throw a willpower.
My dice pool is a 3 if you need. I don't know what yours is.
Oh, can we teamwork this?
You can teamwork this, which gives you a
tactic.
bonus from pack tactics as well.
Yeah, I'll be the primary actor because I get an 8d10.
Okay, so Stormy, if you want to roll, I can't remember what bonus pack dynamics gives you actually. So
I think you add my
it's a
successes
+1.
to his dice pool.
Well, that's normal cooperation, but you get a +1 for pack tactics.
So I roll an extra D10, and then he gets my successes plus another extra D10.
He doesn't get the D10. Oh no, yes, teamwork action. He gets the bonus as well. Yes.
Boom! 4 successes.
Nice.
Out of the 4 D10 I get 4 successes.
Very nice.
So what, does that like an automatic 4 successes for me?
No, adds 4 dice to you.
Oh shit,
Right.
baby.
Yeah. And you get what, 8 again, Pete, or no?
No, not yet, but I'm getting 12d10 on this roll right now.
Fantastic.
4 successes. All right.
Okay.
Was
so
that
between
with
the
the
two of you,
+1?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're participating in a teamwork action, so you get +1.
Oh, do I get another? Okay.
Yeah.
One more die.
From pack dynamics.
Come on, get a success, baby.
Nah.
Ah,
I
shenanigans.
was hoping for that exceptional.
You start going over the dingy toilets. Okay, this place. First thing you're sure, this place hasn't been cleaned by the cleaners yet. They haven't got back here, right? Because it's not being cleaned in general. But a few things you sort of sniff around. Someone came apart quite messily in here. It's been there's a lot of water everywhere. Someone splashed stuff away, but also there is actually evidence everywhere. It's just very small. You're finding little flecks around the place, little flecks of skin, little flecks of gristle. You think the larger flecks may have been cleaned up somehow. The rat smell is very strong. Most of these remains match the scent, the blood scent that you smelt going out the back of a human woman. There is a strong smell of drugs in this area anyway, but also particularly around her. So this person you think is the woman who the rats got.
Right.
There's not a lot of matter here after this has done the cleanup, but also there isn't the scent of putrefaction here from that, so you don't think she died here. So either she died and was taken off, or if it's a Bashilu, they took her as a host.
Yeah, that's why I was looking.
There is
if there's, like,
another
enough- Oh,
smell. The smell of putrefaction you picked up. There was something in the corner where there's a few flecks of torn skin that isn't this woman's. They are someone else. And they smell like they were in pretty bad condition. You are only finding skin. That is also gone, but it smells like that may have, that smells heavily of rats as well. So it may have been that a Bishilu with a hollowed out body came in here, dropped the body to take a new host, in which case it will have taken the other woman as the host.
all right. I was hoping to get a. So there's all the blood's been cleaned off, and none of the
Again,
skin-
it's actually everywhere in very small amounts. It's been like, and in fact, looking closely,
Almost like a
smelling
mist.
closely, you think it's been licked up.
Mm.
So there is enough blood there for you to get a taste and a tang. But if anyone walked in here, there's like some foulness around the place and some slightly reddish tinges to things, but there's not an obvious big splashy blood scene.
So Johnny's gonna sigh.
Jack's
Work.
Sternberger's
And,
gonna point at the blood and be like, "Bro, that's all you."
Yeah, I know. So Johnny gets a really good smear on his fingers and.
You get this woman's taste, and again, it is different to the old skin that you get little fragments of.
Sternberger's gonna involuntarily
but you have the taste. Now,
I
while
turned
you are
to
doing that,
Stormbringer. I turned to Stormbringer. You got any mouthwash on you?
No, but we could probably steal a bottle of whiskey. Nobody would notice.
as you are, you're saying that, you hear a voice from down the corridor, someone approaching. There's a guy. You hear a man's voice going like, "Hey, come on, let's get this cleared. Let's get this cleared up. You can all go home soon, all right? You just need to get in there, get that cleared up. Come on. We haven't got all evening. Come on, let's get." He's talking possibly to one or two other people in an animated, cascadey kind of slightly jittery kind of way. Yeah. Come on, let's get this all done. Yeah, no, I know. I heard, but look, I don't know what happened to. I don't know where they went. Just you get in there, clear that up, all right? And there are some people coming right down the corridor.
I turned to Stormbringer. Time to cheese it.
I want to. So really, out of game. I really kind of want to bring a little bit of levity to this situation, and Stormbringer kind of wants to continue with this whole "I'm a terrible liar" thing. And when they catch us in the bathroom, be like, "Hey, somebody called for a plumber." But if you want to cheese it out of here, we can cheese it out of here. That's fine too.
I think it still works for the comedy, just to have the two of us come barreling out of here and through the back door.
Wait until they're just about to come through the door, and then barrel through it and run.
Okay, so you flee out the corridor. Just as these two, a couple of cleaning ladies, little, you see a couple of women there with the things with hoovers and mops and stuff, and then there's a guy. Now the guy is about 5'6". He's not very tall, skinny as a rake, wearing a slightly kind of literally a glittery jacket, no shirt on underneath, grinning as he's got shuttered sunglasses,
Oh my God.
which are themselves glittery, and as you can see, he's got the thing of a diamond tooth or something in his mouth. He's like, come on, and then you guys come by. And he's like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? What the hell? And he just gets sort of knocked over because he's
Stormbringer's gonna stop for a second and look at this guy like, what the fuck are you wearing? And then take off.
Wait, who are you? And then you guys are burning out as this guy's like,
Wait. Johnny kind of wants his cheesy sunglasses.
So steal them.
Yeah, that's why.
Did we knock him on his ass?
As I'm running through, I take.
We knocked this guy on his ass, Chris.
Hey, yeah, he sure knocked him over just as the door came open. I see he weighs a feather. Are you stealing his sunglasses?
I'm totally stealing this man's sunglasses.
Okay. You steal the shuttered glasses, and he's there blinking as hey, what the hell? Oi! And then you're running out the back, leave him spluttering and angrily in your wake, and then out into the darkness.
I'm gonna while we're running, because I'm assuming the truck is in view from the place.
I'm assuming you parked it out of view of the back. So,
okay, that was my plan, but I didn't specify, and I didn't want to make the assumption that you thought that was what we were doing. All right, so we're gonna book it to the truck. I'm gonna look at Johnny. Really, the fucking sunglasses.
So what? As you run, you run
No
on the
man
corner.
should walk around with these sunglasses. I did him a favor.
You hook round
Good.
around
I
the
thought
corner.
you wanted them.
Looking back, you see the guy come to us like halt, like peering around the corner of the club, and looking around. He doesn't see you guys are like he just look around, oh, and then sort of staggers back. He doesn't go running. He doesn't go pursuing far. He seems out of breath just running a few yards, to be honest. And then you are alone in the darkness with the man's shuttered glasses. Right. So you have the taste of blood. Are you going to try and follow the trail?
Not tonight.
Johnny wants to call a sacred hunt.
I'm gonna look at other Jack. Stormberger's gonna look at his watch. How many hours of nighttime do we have left?
It's about 2:15 at this point.
Oh, okay, so we still got plenty of nighttime.
Johnny's all in favor of doing this as soon as possible because he's a hunter in darkness. He knows how badly a Becheloux thing can get. And
Oh, no, I know.
And if they're at the point where they're body jumping, that means it's going to get really bad really fast.
All right, so so Jack's gonna, or Stormberger's gonna fire up the truck, and we're gonna tear our ass back to Jenny's, and I guess depending on how the conversation with Marta went about showing a little more respect to our territory, she can be involved in our sacred hunt. But if she didn't decide to start respecting our territory, Stormberger's gonna have to show her some old-fashioned respect. And by that I mean I'm gonna beat it into her.
So you, the truck rolls back as the quiet conversation is going on with Jenny, explaining that things. Hopefully Sarah is. Sarah had a lucky escape in some ways. While you've been doing that, Jenny's actually pulled something out. She says, "I found this on Sarah as well. I think she was. It's a small bag of some.
All right, I'm gonna buy her real quick.
Yeah, I'll be right back too.
So
Because
pops out
all that talk about lose, I gotta go.
Stop stealing my dice, tiny baby. The baby is stealing my dice.
Oh,
He's a
no.
simple baby, actually. So she shows a little bag of some sort of cut drug. She goes, well, I think basically, I think Sarah was, she was buying some of this. Maybe that's why she was in it. But she doesn't know whether there's anything more meaningful to it than that. If it's just maybe she bought
So
from someone else.
I'm gonna smell it. Let me make a roll.
No.
So that for me is going to be 6 dice. Four successes. Can I identify what the drug is?
Yeah, it's some sort of low grade. God knows what. It's a very small amount of, I think, very low grade cocaine.
Okay.
It is. You can say the smell of this particular woman is all over it as well. One whose blood was also everywhere. There's other scents on it lingering as well of other people who may have been involved in cutting it. You don't know for sure, but there are other human scents on it. The rats aren't really on it so much as just in general everywhere, kind of thing.
It's just Coke, he says, and he seals it up and he hands it. He throws it to Harmonious Flame.
Grab it.
At this point, a truck is pulling up outside with your wayward pack. Oh, can't hear what you're saying, Stormbringer.
All right, so he hears the
Jack jumps the curb again as he gets out of truck. Son of a bitch! I really gotta get better at that.
He hears the truck pulling up, and he says they're on their way back, which they're back pretty soon, which I expect means that the Becheloux probably moved on from that location. I'm going to stay here tonight. I'll sleep outside, just to make sure that you're safe tonight.
They look kind of agitated, says Jenny, glancing out the window as the two guys are sort of... And then presumably, she goes to open the door before they end up knocking on it because she doesn't want the parents to be woken.
Right.
Johnny's lucky his smelly ass was allowed in the truck, licking a bathroom floor.
As soon as
Dirty
Jenny opens the
bastard.
door, I beeline it in, find the liquor cabinet, and
Yep.
pop a bottle of vodka, and I gargle it, type
Cool.
I walk in, look at Thornbreaker. Handled
So-
business.
Marta,
nods.
you can see with them now here in Twilight is a raven. It has silver and golden feathers among its ebon black ones, and it is now perched on the back of the sofa by them, and it is watching
So-
you.
This one with you? Point at the spirit. Because they can
I
see
nod.
it.
I meet
Jenny
the
looks
uncomfortable
confused
Raven.
because she can't see spirits. Greetings.
The Beshlu count as claimed.
No, they are hosts.
Correct. They're their own thing.
So not what I'm good at.
That's
Sacred
my
hunting.
territory.
Yep, they're the hunter in darkness prey.
Since
Got
it is
it.
their spirit, I'm gonna give it a little bow and say greetings in first tongue.
There is so what then is to be done about this enemy?
I look at Thornbreaker. We're calling a hunt.
He nods.
Johnny's going to lead.
He nods again.
It's host.
Martha. We're going to grant you temporary membership into our pack. The more we have to hunt this host, the better off we are.
Okay.
Plus, it seems to be they're going after your family.
It is very annoying.
Thornbreaker says, "We don't know that yet," glancing briefly at Jenny to make sure she's not devastated by this news.
She's not.
I look at
Jack-
Thornbreaker, then look at Jenny. Yeah, I'm not exactly a detective. Just guessing.
Jenny's got on a sharp kitchen knife and there's a little table near her at this point.
I was like, I'm gonna go to get her a friggin' axe out of the truck. Here.
Thornbreaker walks over to Jenny and gently takes the knife out of her hand and says, "You're protected. You're safe."
Okay.
So I'm gonna figure out how Johnny's pulling this sacred hunt in terms of
How far
postal.
are we from the manor?
A couple of miles from the man.
Okay, how many people live in this house?
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Do we have enough room in the manor that we could house the 4 people comfortably?
We're not going to be able to get her parents to just be like, "You should come stay in random stranger's house for, however much amount of time." Thornbreaker's
No.
gonna sleep outside.
We tell them we are considering opening the house for rentals. We'd like them to tell us what they think of the renovations so far and to stay at the house for a few days. Because Jenny works there, it makes sense.
That's a hard sell.
It's a hard sell.
Thornbreaker, the expression you see on Marta's face is one you've recognised often and see now on Thornbreaker's face.
All right, fine.
Why
Fine.
why do you want to get them out of the house? Are you worried the Bashila will come here?
Because we can more easily protect them from our home territory.
So
We also
Chris.
will more easily expose them. I'll stay here tonight. Marta's here. Between the two of us, we can handle anything that comes. The two of you can start making preparations for the sacred hunt tomorrow.
I think the implication is Johnny's going to do it tonight, in fact.
Oh, are we jumping
Yes.
right into it? Okay.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure.
'Cause
Well, I wanted
it's
to do it back
already
at
the
the
middle
house.
of the night. It's almost tomorrow, right?
I mean,
So-
It's about
Wait,
2:30
John-
in the morning.
Johnny's thing is that they're hosts, right? Like a werewolf problem doesn't get exponentially worse for there's an exponential growth curve to what we're dealing with in terms of the host. Now, will he put it off to tomorrow night? Yeah, but he's going to be first thing in the morning. We're calling this thing, especially because it's a Hunter in Darkness issue. These assholes are violating the territory by being here.
Mhm.
So you can see a fire burning in Johnny you've never seen before. I'm sorry, can't
We
hear.
lost you.
Yeah, one sec. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
There we
He
go.
has a point. We will have to wait until nighttime to do the hunt anyway. We can't just hunt in the middle of the day through a village. People will see you. Us.
Town rather than village, so actually even more. of a
Town.
problem.
Yes. And
But we can hunt, we
as
just
I
need to be
was
careful about it.
telling to your friend Thornbreaker here, there are other things in this town that you should be worried about. So I would agree with this wolf here. Do you have a name?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Johnny.
In character, he goes, "Who, me?"
Yeah.
I say Jack starts laughing. Stormbreaker starts laughing.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
agree with
just Johnny.
Johnny here that we should do it as fast as possible, ideally tonight. Because tomorrow there will be other things to deal with, which I will brief you on, hopefully, later. But if you're worried about this house, I can put a boundary word on it. We will know if anything comes in it.
He raises an eyebrow. That's a
a
nifty
gift.
trick.
I say, Stormbreaker's gonna poke his head out back to see if we could do the ritual to call the sacred hunt without people really seeing us. I mean, yeah, it's 2 a.m, so most people are asleep anyway.
Could you would have to forego the usual howling and the like, but on the other hand, Hunter in Darkness style version of that might be quite might be a silent chase
Right.
kind of thing anyway. So
Yeah. However, Johnny does see the point in not being able to hunt these things in daylight because they're probably going to get places that we shouldn't be in. So he's willing to wait till tomorrow morning, but like that doesn't mean he won't be actively doing stuff the entire day trying to narrow them down until then.
Well, all right. So if we want to go back to the estate to do the ritual for the sacred hunt, with the plan of actively hunting the following night, that's fine.
I'm just worried because as soon as we call the sacred hunt, like everything we do has to be in terms of the hunt.
Right.
So if we have commitments to do during the day, we can't do them anymore. So like if you have to work,
No, yeah, he'd call out of work and whatever, not feeling well. It's a part-time gig.
So what's the choice? Are you sacred hunting tonight, or are you going to do it the following night?
I say we sacred hunt tonight and get as much done before daylight as we can.
that and Thornbreaker can use his gift while they're sleeping to try to also help narrow them down if they are even
Because-
sleeping.
Stormbringer can do his whole, his day ritual of working on the house. And instead of doing that, I can have the crew here kind of not fortifying, but keeping an eye on things. And it still give the appearance of going about his daily activities as he's supposed to, but really doing the hunt like he should.
Does a Beshalou host sleep?
That's a very good question, and the answer is yes, they do sometimes. And it could partly depend on what their version thinks, but they do sometimes sleep, to Johnny's knowledge. But again, while they are your favourite prey, you don't know a massive amount of them because, again, you're not the most experienced werewolf, but you believe they will sometimes sleep. Some hosts will sometimes sleep. Is it individual to the shard or not? You don't know. So I believe that was a yes on calling the hunt tonight then. So a couple of things to consider. The first is obviously Johnny needs to figure out how he's going to do the performance. Jenny's
gotta
like,
look at the
Jenny's like
rules
this was
first.
going, you're going to do a magic ritual in the garden? The other thing to consider for two of you, for Thornbreaker and Stormbringer, is if you are going to spend the point of essence when this happens to activate your Sacred Hunt related moon gift, because Thornbreaker has the Dream Hunter and Stormbringer has Bloody Handed Hunter now.
I also have my moon gift.
You've got Moon. Okay, so if you want to activate that, and in for Marta, is she going to be burning the 5 essence to place the boundary ward and key to hosts on the house or on the grounds?
Yes, it's a lot of essence, with almost all my essence, but I will do it because I
Well, we
care
can-
about my family.
I was about to say, during the day when daytime comes, I'm actually going to bring Marta to the house, and then she can we'll allow her to siphon a little off the locus.
Yep.
To help
Now,
in the hunt.
for the immediacy of this hunt tonight, she's running low on essence, but on the other hand, yeah. So Marta is, while you are heading out to the little garden, it's just a little place. There's a little bit of grass, a little bit of hedge around it, high enough that you can't. Either, as long as you keep low, people in their houses won't see you. Marta is presumably marking the house edges of the grounds of the garden house with sigils, and obviously, Marta, you burn the 5 essence. You feel the ward coalesce in your mind, keyed to hosts. You will know if any hosts cross this barrier for the next month. And then, Johnny, what's your performance?
So John, sorry, I had the page pulled up. I'm probably going to key it into dexterity and stealth. Since
It is the new moon. There is no moon in the sky, so it is your moon.
Sorry about that. I just got to look at the symbols for this, right? The hunt, prey, claws, or weapons, blood. All right, claws are handled by my Dalu claws. My roll will probably handle that. I'm going to mark the other 3 werewolves with host symbols to represent the prey. I'm going to use the Unconquered Raven as kind of like carrying the prey towards one spot. So to get that bonus from it. I'm marking them with blood, so to handle that. And claws are just my Dalu claws. So basically, my right consists of the Unconquered Raven, like harrowing them, and then like me stalking around them and trying to get them into one central location to represent trying to get the host into one spot to kill them all.
You are literally hunting in darkness. So you have a total. Presuming everyone takes Dalu form, you are getting 4 from the suggested modifiers. So you get +4 dice to the roll.
Are there forms that would be better suited to helping his roll?
If everyone is in Dalu, then he gets +1 die.
Yeah, I'll be in Dalu
Gotcha.
for the.
It's
for
the
the
right
it is.
Now, Jenny, who hasn't seen this before but is immune to lunacy, being wolf-blooded, is staring out the back window of the living room as you lot literally change shape in like a. She's not freaking out or anything, but she's this is the proof of what Thornbreaker's been telling her, as you literally shift and grow and bulk out in this sort of form.
So as Thornbreaker glances and sees her peering out the window, he just gives her a shush sign with a clawed finger.
So Chris, since I'm basically kind of stalking during this, do I get to add my specialty towards the right roll, or no? Because I don't have a specialty in rights with stealth.
I'll say no on that.
Okay, that was my only question. All right, so I'm rolling 12d10.
Nice.
Jesus. That's terrifying.
Now, as a note, obviously, so Marta, this is the first time you've done anything with these strange wolves, so their ways are strange. You are affected by this because the Sacred Hunt doesn't work based on pack; it works based on participants. So you are folded into the full effects of this.
I will be activating. I will be activating Dream Hunter, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
And Stormbringer, if you are activating Bloody Handed Hunter, spend a point of essence.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm activating Relentless Hunter, Chris.
Yep, so that's a beat for that. Right, you gain the symbolic focus condition, Johnny, as the power of the right performed beneath the empty sky of the no moon is fueling into you. And this is the first time you've hunted your prey for a lot of hosts for a while now. The power that rushes into you is almost sort of built up from that lack of, the frustration of not having that prey is washing in hard into you. The cascading power pulses through you all. You have gained the Hunter in Darkness Sacred Hunt benefit. You can sense the state of the gauntlet in your presence. You're constantly aware of its current strength and if it's been increased or decreased compared to its normal strength. If the hunt's prey is responsible, then you know this. You can also sense any other breaches in reality that your prey has moved through in the last lunar month, gateways to places and realms other than the shadow. So basically, this is very useful for tracking hosts, especially if they start bullshitting around with the gauntlet.
For the record, I don't think we've ever not gotten an exceptional success calling this a Skirdah.
So Chris, I never resolved my previous symbolic focus condition. So
that will have faded by this time of the month. Washing away, I'm afraid. So the almost, I suppose, stiffness to it of Marta not being a regular member of the pack, having to, be being an outsider and falling into it makes it slightly more difficult than you might have thought, but it works, and it works very well. And you stand refreshed beneath the empty sky, between the pitch black sky and dark clouds and no moon above it, feeling infused with the craving for the hunt and knowing that your prey is somewhere out there. Now, the only things that immediately key off of the things that have been activated, if I can just check. The full moon one means anyone who gets in your way who isn't the prey, you're going to get to splat more for the Rahu. The no moon one is much easier to get to them, I think, get through anything they try to put in your way. Now, the gibbous moon one, you become aware, you're attuned to waking state. You are aware that they are not sleeping at the moment.
Yep. I got 4 successes.
You'll know
on it,
if
by
they
the
do.
way.
You'll know if they do. You got, sorry?
4 successes on the roll
For what?
to activate
the gift. Yes.
the gift,
Oh,
because they
yes,
have
yes.
to roll.
Oh, yes.
They
yes.
have to roll composure and primal urge, which they won't have.
They
But
felt
their
the
resistance
gift-
stat.
The gift has worked. You've beaten their resistance, so it is active.
Okay. And then for the full Sisker dot, if they fall asleep, I immediately know, and then I can force myself to sleep to then activate one of its facets.
Yep. Okay, so then you are out in the cool night air of this spring weather beneath the clouds. You want the surging push to hunt this prey. The obvious starting point is to try and pick up the scent near the club. This new elf has informed you that she's put a ward around the house, so she will know if the Bashilu come to this place. So, is it now going to be a case of packing back in the pickup truck and going back to the scene of the glasses theft crime?
Yep. I think.
The glasses theft cry.
Before they leave,
Jack's gonna take the glasses and crush
I
them in his
thought not
hand
hearing-
just
not
so
hearing
they're
Stormbringer
destroyed.
either.
before
Not
they,
hearing me.
Before they,
Wait, have I just lost hearing on everyone else? Can you hear me?
we can hear.
We can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear anyone, so please give me a second while I attempt to fix what's going on here.
Okay.
The reconnect as it shuffles us like
Oh.
cards all over the overlay.
I couldn't hear Ag saying something, so I thought I
Oh,
might.
there we go.
Then couldn't hear anyone.
Um,
So it's pickup time, is
Can
it?
you hear us now?
Pick up
Yes.
time. Pick
Okay.
up time. But before we go, Thornbreaker's gonna take Hishu form again and approach Jenny, and say,
Holy shit! You actually turned into the thing out the Teen Wolf things, yeah?
he nods. It's one of the many tricks that we have.
Are you going to go and kill those rats now?
That is the plan.
Well, be nice because they might not. If someone made them do it, then
He shakes his head. They're not really rats. They look like rats, but that's not what they are. They're dark spirits.
okay.
You'll be safe inside the house. That's what Marta protected with her. The word seems uncouth coming out of his mouth, but spell, he says, dripping with disdain. But he says, "Are you gonna be all right?"
Ask me again come morning.
He nods. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. When you first told me all this shit was going on, I didn't even really believe it in the fucking rats. And she was covered. I literally. Okay. Ask me again in the morning. Okay.
he puts his hand on her shoulder and he nods. And then as he leaves, he shifts into Urhan form and trots off and leaps into the back of the pickup. And Jenny will likely remember him because he saw her in the
Before you get away,
in the
when
forest.
you do that, she goes, and literally, but the guy's and she says, trying to get your attention. Wait, that's the dogs. They weren't dogs. It was a wolf, wasn't it?
He nods in wolf form.
But not you. There was an, and she nods and she closes the door.
I'm gonna look at Jenny before she closes the door. We'll take care of that when we get back.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the sunglasses from Johnny and stick them under the tire of the truck to make sure I back them over thoroughly.
Aww.
So is Marta going in the back of the truck with Johnny then?
Yeah, I'll
Okay, you hop
become
in.
a wolf as well.
I was like, is everybody in the back of the truck and it's just me up front with my dogs in the back
You
of
and
the
a bunch
truck?
of dogs.
Excellent.
I'm in
So
the
which
back.
one of you has the firstborn thingy?
No one does at the moment.
Oh, no one does. Okay.
I'm in the back of the pickup, but as Johnny comes towards the back of the pickup, he like nips the air at him to like make her get into the cab.
I get into the cab, but in Erhan form. So I'm sitting in the pickup cab in Erhan.
So-
I'm gonna look at Johnny. You're vacuuming that up.
So Stormbringer and his 3 dogs go for a nighttime ride through town.
I'm staying in Dalu form, so Stormbringer barely fits in the truck.
You pass along, drive through Blankmarsh, over the bridge, past the older built centre of Blankmarsh. You can see into Gilcombe. You can see the glimmering lights of the nearly finished constructed tower there, the office tower, and you drive along in towards Possession. Now, are we going to take a 5-minute bio break at this point?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yep, and we will come back as you pick up the trail outside Possession. And who knows, there might be a reckoning about those glasses. So, we'll be back in 5 minutes, just getting drinks and things, and we'll see you again in a moment. We're not going anywhere, we're just getting drinks and loo stuff. Right.
Hey, buddy. Did he? Good. I'm gonna go just pour some more coffee. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Johnny's. Let's break right now. That's fine. Sorry. You want to go today?
If we do have any viewers in chat at the moment, I can't see the chat right this second, but I'll ask Dan about if there's any questions we can answer.
I want to try that place because I kind of want them chicken.
All right.
Hey Dan, anything in chat during the game so far?
It's been pretty quiet today. Just some people saying hi as they popped in and out. I saw Interiority in here. We had Dudash in here. We had Shara in here. So obviously, you guys who are watching, feel free to drop a line in chat. We love talking to you guys. And we'll go from there as we get back into the gameplay in a few minutes.
So I just realized how terrifying a pack of werewolves is when we're all activating our third dot auspice gifts.
Yep.
Holy
What's
crap. No, I just realized how terrifying we are once we activate our third dot.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't wait for the first thing to get in my way. Well, so my normal attack roll is 16d10. With my new gift, it becomes 19d10.
Anything that gets in your way.
Yep.
God.
I kind of hope Mr. Glittery Jacket gets in my way. I want to punch him in the face for wearing those stupid sunglasses.
Let the man express himself. Jeez.
He can, just not as loudly.
Just not in the general vicinity of Stormbringer.
Right. You can express yourself all you want without those glasses.
And not with tacky clothes out of the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much.
That fiend.
I'm back.
Alright.
Okay. So, since everyone's back, we will now pick up. Outside the back of Possession, the man with the glasses, now bereft, is nowhere to be seen. The back is closed up again. However, as you are approaching it, I assume you send someone forward to check first. There is someone out back who wasn't there before. There is a woman. She is lean, quite severely, quite faces quite sharp. 30s, slightly made up. She's wearing fairly robust clothes, like she's got a leather jacket on, and she is hovering around the back. But you see she's nosing around the place, not nosing around going through bins or anything, but she looks like she's waiting for someone. She's expecting to be there, and as the first who's getting nearby, when you sort of see her and hold back rather than just walking up to whoever this person is, she's just going. So she's obviously hovering there, but she looks agitated. Like she came here to wait for somebody, they didn't turn up, and now she's off into the dark. She's going away from from where Johnny remembers the trail going. With her disappearing into the darkness, presumably Johnny is going. Well, presumably some of you are going to try and pick up the trail.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how much of a bonus is it for the blood? Is it still a +2 bonus?
Right. Let me check. So, firstly, it's wits plus survival. You are adding a bonus relating to your primal urge, which is for you guys nothing, but you are also adding your form bonus, so +4 if you're in your wolves. You're getting a. I can't remember what the blood. But so there's a tracking can surpass even these limitations. Where is it? It says taste. Blood. You can sense your prey's location. You get the direction.
Okay.
But you don't get the. That's all you get. So you're going. The prey is not actually exactly in the direction the trail will initially be going, but obviously you could just beeline towards them. But it might be better to follow the trail because you can see where they've gone and how they may have got to where they've ended up.
Okay. I'm going to.
Jack, Stormbringer is staying in Dalu form just in case we run into humans.
And you're also getting an additional +1 bonus to the tracking roll on top of the other modifiers.
Do I get to add my Relentless Hunter? Since I'm trying to narrow them down.
Let me have a look. Okay. No, because it's not a stealth. It's not one. It's not none of those are tracking roll.
Okay. I was just I thought it might fall under the
It doesn't fall under the obstructions or security.
Yeah, alternate paths to reach them, whatever. Okay. I was looking at that third die. I was looking at that third one above Divide and Conquer. I was hoping that would apply. Okay.
Fair.
Okay, no problem. So that's wits and survival +1 overall, +5 overall.
+5 overall, and then yeah.
And then, do we want to teamwork this again?
That's up to Thornbreaker and Marta and Harmonious Flame.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so you're making wits plus. So before he rolls, you are both making wits plus survival plus 5 rolls.
Would I throw that in too?
No, because you're not in wolf form.
I actually have a
now-
specialty for tracking
Got it.
too.
Now, just so you know on those two, because of the way Trang works, I'm not going to let you both add dice to Johnny. There is a max of 5 dice anyway, but I'll let whichever you get highest adds their bonus as dice to Johnny, yeah? As the successes. Because there's a limit to how helpful a pile of dogs can be when the trail is not too hard to follow anyway.
All right, so I'm rolling 10 dice.
I'm rolling 7. But let's see.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna see. Is the
No
door to the back still jimmied?
7 successes! Kaboom!
Wow. Okay, so
Nice.
that you cannot get more than 5 dice added from teamwork, so you're only adding 5.
Okay.
Does
That is
that
an
does that
exceptional.
trigger? Does that still trigger a beat though? Out of curiosity.
Yes,
Two
yes, it's still an exceptional success. And it is on the yes, you're right. So it's 2 because it's on the steering
Woo.
cut. And I'll give you some extra information for that as well. But once Johnny's made his dice, so Johnny, you're getting plus 5 dice from teamwork.
So that's wow. That's another plus 10. So I'm rolling 14d10.
Jesus.
Ah, shit.
I was hoping the door was gonna be jimmied. I was gonna go inside and look for the flamboyant man.
Only 3 successes.
Oh, really, Pete? We should
Hold on,
we should have had
hold
Dan
on.
roll that one.
Hold on. I forgot 1 die.
Alright.
Okay.
Nah.
I forgot to add an extra die because of the team.
Wait, but that's not an exceptional for you though.
No,
No.
not on tracking. It's not perception check. Okay, so after casting your underground, now the smell that what Thornbreaker gets from his exceptional out of this then is that the you find you start nosing around and you start following this trail, and it veers off one point, just touching on the edge of one of these back streets. Thornbreaker catches a different scent and noses into it, and you find wrapped up like among in a bin bag that was obviously half empty, has been pulled open, and inside, along with some rotten food, is a human skin, tossed in there like forgotten clothes. It is well, it's hard to tell what they look like now, obviously, but it is the hollowed out skin of a human with the strong smell of rats on the inside of it.
It's a full meat suit.
Yeah, basically, there's no real meat left on it,
Gross.
but
I love it.
Yeah.
Does it seem fairly fresh, or does it seem rather putrid? And
it smells like it's starting to putrefy. They must have worn it towards the end of its sell-by date, shall we say. There's the smell. I mean, you're smelling it though. The smell doesn't smell local. Nothing really. No local smells cling to it. So it's not like it's probably not someone from around here. And then you're off following the trail. The trail wends its way out of the sort of the valley bit of Gilcum, away from the river, out past the office buildings and away from the shops. And it makes its way up the hill towards St. John's, the nice area of town where these lovely sandstone buildings, a few glowing lights in this time, mostly quiet apart from the street lighting, leafy neighborhood where lots of very well-off middle-class people live. A lot of older people here as well. You know, it's a lot of retirees and people who've done very nicely for themselves, have bought a little house here. And it's very much the part of town that holds itself above the rest and thinks of itself as the real Gleesham, and the rest is the after the Town Planning Provision Act that made a load of cheap housing in the after the 50s, when they wanted to get people out of the overfull cities. You know, those estates are the places these people look down on, think it's bringing the town down. This is the nice part of town. You are halfway up the fairly steep hill of streets over here, when the scent.
No, you're not going outside.
Oh, you cut off
No, I was just thinking what to say, and then I heard the shout behind you. The scent comes to a. Yeah, okay, the scent comes to a hedge. And someone has clearly pushed their way through the hedge here. And then into the garden. So there's tall hedge around this particular house. It's a freestanding house. I can't remember the word. It's a detached house by itself. It's a 2-story detached house. Very nice sandstone building. There is a small light on the porch. The motion sensor light has gone on. There is a quiet light downstairs in one of the windows and another light in an upstairs room, despite the hour. And the scent comes to this property, and then moves around, disperses a lot once it's in. Like they must have moved around a lot. But from the taste of the blood, you are fairly certain that they are. Molly, I'm being tiny baby's waving a sharp bright light at me. It's blinding me. But you are fairly certain from your sense of the blood that the prey is in there.
Follow-up question. The hunter in darkness.
Something else here. Your sacred hunt's kicked in. The gauntlet here is almost non-existent. It's not a locus. It's just almost non-existent, but it is not pinging as the prey having done it.
Oh, great! There's more of them.
There's always going to be more of them, or this was just a naturally thin spot that they're coming through.
I want to hit something. Stormbringer literally says, "I want to hit something."
Want me to open the door?
Hold on. I actually want to investigate to see if I can find a quieter way in. And
Okay.
use my relentless hunter aspect.
Only because this is your hunt. Only because this is your hunt, Johnny. Otherwise,
Okay,
I'd
give
blown the
me-
door open.
Into wits plus investigation. Add the bonus dice from your relentless hunter.
Do I get to add the perception bonus from Arhan as well to this, or no?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to point out I'm an Iron Master. I don't have to blow up the door. I will just open them for you.
No, I want to break it.
But then we can't. close them
Stormbringer
back
likes
behind
breaking
us.
things.
But then we can't close them back behind us and stop them from running away.
Fair.
Okay, what was your own?
I'm gonna make it right now. I was just getting my dice pulled together. Sorry about that.
No,
Fine. Be that way, Marta. Gotta be the voice of reason.
Oh, really?
That's what
Okay,
they
I found
let us do.
nothing.
Nothing.
Well,
I
it
got
works
nothing.
because my whatchamacallit, my bone is cub, and it's kind of me being like, yeah, you do know better.
Johnny slips in ahead in wolf form, and you nose around. You get in there, and it's the problem with finding a way in is more that there isn't. It's not defended. There's a front door and there is a back door. You're going around there. You can look in the back windows. There is seated. Like, it's a very nice, cozy house. It looks like the house of someone who really likes books. You look in, and the shelves on the wall are packed with books. It also looks like it's the house of someone who's probably at least 4 or 5 decades behind the current day. It's decorated like probably an older person's house. The person you see down there watching the TV is not quite what you expect. It looks like he's maybe mid-late 30s. But he looks like someone's had, he looks scrawny and wiry and slightly nervy. He's touching things and a bit wavy, but he doesn't look very healthy. Sort of gaunt cheeks. He looks like he's had quite a hard life.
Okay.
He's watching the TV. He's smoking while he's doing it. But there is also, you can tell there's light spilling down from upstairs, and it sounds like you hear maybe someone upstairs. But the house looks like older person's house. They clearly love books. They've packed it with all their gewgaws and trinkets of their life and their books and things.
Okay. Follow up. The only thing I realize is Johnny probably would want to come up quietly if I can make a stealth roll, or is it?
You don't need to for this. You make one anyway in case you're worried about there being someone else who might be hearing you.
That's pretty much it. I'm also going to throw fading into this, and relentless hunter kicks in. 15d10. All right, now I feel better about myself. 6 successes.
Okay, so
I was gonna say, if you got no successes on that, I was gonna throw you out of the pack.
you slink up.
Useless
No,
werewolf.
thank you, Molly. You slink up silently. You are completely content that you have not been detected, and you're able to just sort of basically at your leisure potter around and go, right, what's going on here? You cannot see that you've lost track. The smell is all over the place here. You're not quite sure where they went. Can you not? So I have a tiny baby trying to steal things from me. Sorry, Wailer is wailing. You're not quite sure where they went, and there is no obvious explanation for where they've gone. The smell is around the place outside, but you're not really getting it from the inside. There are smells, however. There is a strong smell of rats here, in general, that isn't just the Prey's smell. There is... what else would you get? Yeah, so you can see this guy downstairs, looks nervy, looks a bit hard life, but he's just sitting there quietly. You can see while you're pottering around, there's some sort of, you can see a stair lift in where you're peering down from one of the windows for the stairs up, and the guy downstairs, you're peering, watching there, and he has no clue you're those you're watching from in the darkness outside beyond the big double glazed doors. Some fell beast watches him, and you go, well, he's got a like a little button like you would see on a carer, for example. For if the person needs them, they'll hit the buzzer and they'll go, or what, that they'll react. So, anything else you get out of this for now? Let me have a look. For your super stealthiness and ability to sit there and watching.
I'm a ninja in wolf form.
You are. Yeah, the real mystery is where the hell the rat person's gone.
Can I glance across the gauntlet, Chris?
Yes. So across the gauntlet, very thin. Here on the other side, the building is fairly imprinted, and it seems a welcoming place, almost more cottage-like in the shadow than it is in real life. It is almost overspilling with knowledge, books, texts, but a rot has set in. Threads of corruption and rot are threading very slowly through the building, but obviously it seems a recent-ish development. By its age, a recent-ish development. Someone had a very strong imprint in it for a long time to make this impression, but it started to change. And in fact, there's almost a smouldering to the corruption, like little bits of ash occasionally drifting up off it. The only spirit of note immediately here is a jet black inky thing of darkness, lamplight eyes, and a demonic horned mask, a small spirit perched on the hedge.
Can I make a roll to see if this evokes any resonance with the prophetic dream I had?
I can tell you free, it does. It's not the same mask, but you get the feeling, you look at it, it's like it's the same mask even though it's not. This mask is cruder. It's almost like literally like carved wood of a grimacing ogreish face with these two horns, but then the eyes are gone, just the two spirits' lamplight eyes shining through. Looking closer, there is a slight... no, actually, I'll tell you what, give me an int plus occult roll.
Okay. That would be 1, 2, 3, 5 dice. 2 successes.
Okay, looking closer, around the edges of the mask where it is in the spirit's matter, there's a thin line against the inky darkness, sort of a grey, paste, chalky kind of something dripping down, as if the mask has been fused into the spirit, rather than being a native part of it. I'm presuming Johnny's come back from his little recce to debrief what he's seen.
Yeah. So the scent, quote unquote, kind of goes cold. So I'm assuming, and I can't sense the Prey Gauntlet breached, right?
No, you do not sense the Prey's Gauntlet breached.
But it just appeared in there, right?
Yeah, which means presumably here in the flesh somewhere. You just don't really know where.
Okay.
Didn't notice the scent going anyway away from this property.
No, the thing is, it went everywhere here, and it really messed the scent up. But you are getting the impression it's in the building, but you just can't tell how it got in.
Might be a basement we can go through. I do mention the old man, and from what I
Well,
could tell,
not old man, sort of middle-aged, younger middle-aged man. He's in his 30s.
Oh,
All right, so once they're gathered, Thornbreaker is going to shift into Hishu form and whisper to them, I peered across the gauntlet. There's a spirit there. I've seen something like it in a dream.
can you describe it? I say.
And he
I'm
describes...
just gonna peer across the gauntlet to see it.
Now, those of the three of the pack, three of you who I don't know which of you, if some of you, but I don't know which ones in particular, have, when you've been in town before, you have seen what you've been told of fear spirits with this strange mask and horns before. You know, in the last story arc, you saw them time to time.
Yep.
But you didn't know what you didn't know is Thornbreaker has since had a prophetic dream.
I do. Does it look like the spirit that was at the club when I peered across?
Yes, it's slightly different. It's clearly a different spirit, but
I
it
was
is
wondering.
similar. Yeah.
Do you notice
look
that
through.
the mask on its countenance appears to have been forcefully applied there?
I nod.
So isn't Creeping Dread a fear spirit?
Yes, he is, but he looks very different to these guys, and he doesn't have a mask.
Got
He
it.
looks like a griffin without wings, made of shadow, essentially.
Right.
I
Okay.
do say, don't these spirits belong to Creeping Dread's court? Don't they serve him?
He's the Reeve.
I think something has altered this spirit, perhaps. I also think the Beshalu are somehow connected to all this. Something's trying to let them loose, I think, across the gauntlet.
Well, the obvious answer is we kill it.
Do houses in England have like a basement? I don't know.
Sometimes, yes, they will have a cellar.
This house is a cellar. Perhaps we can get in through that way. I didn't see one, but maybe you'll have better luck. If not, I don't think he lives alone.
Is it a
right?
two-story building, Chris?
Yeah.
Are any of the
Yes.
windows open? On the second floor?
Yes, yes.
They can be.
Jack's gonna see one of the open windows. I guess because it's gonna be a raw jump. Strength and athletics. Chris?
Yes, and from there's enough stuff that you can help to get yourself boot up, so it'll just be a flat strength plus athletic roll to get yourself hooked up and clamber in. It will be a bit of a squeeze to get in, but yeah.
One success.
Okay, so as you're watching, you see Darley form run up, kick up on a small plastic, an electric box at the base of the wall, up, hit the wall, grab, and then haul yourself up, and then in you go. This room is not lit at the moment. There's light coming in from the hall. The door is open. You pull yourself up. You realize you're coming in over the sink of a bathroom, and you're trying to get yourself in without breaking the sink with your weight, without knocking stuff off, and you haul yourself down. I'm going to ask for a Dex plus Stealth check, please.
I thought that was coming.
Throw a willpower on it, you son.
Oh, 100%.
Son of a bitch.
100%.
We're not werewolves.
Yes! One success! I at least don't
Okay.
make a total mess.
You so you knock over like the thing with the toothbrushes in it and stuff like that, but there's not that much noise as you come in. Gently put yourself down. The floor has this very thick, luxurious kind of rug on it, and so you look around it. It's a small bathroom. It smells very strongly of scent stuff. You're looking around this quickly. There's first you go. Well, it looks like an older lady's bathroom. It's the room is packed with stuff.
Do you want a perception check or?
No, I'm gonna give you this to you anyway because it's just the kind of you're there for a moment right by it. But the thing that strikes you next is it's very neat apart from the bit you just bulldozed through. but it's almost quite not sterile is the wrong word. Like but yeah, not
too clean?
exactly unused. It's slightly used, but not as used as you expect someone's bathroom to really be. It's clean, it's nicely laid out, but the toothbrush, like there's a strong smell in the air in Dali, so you pick up the strong smell of. Okay, you can smell a bit of rat. There is a smell of someone who obviously comes in here sometimes, but there isn't the smell to put. There's no way nice to put it. It's a bathroom. There isn't the smell of shit, right? And urine. There isn't the smell of all the bodily off-put from someone who's washing a lot. There's a little bit of some cleaning smells and a little bit of some stuff around the bath. It's particularly breath freshener stuff around the sink, but not the smell of someone who is regularly cleaning their teeth. Just someone who is then going to load up on the breath freshener stuff.
Do I see a bottle of mouthwash?
Yes, there's a bottle of mouthwash.
You son of a.
I'm gonna throw it to Johnny through the window.
Okay, so you toss it out. So Johnny, you see this thing go bump in the hedge by you as his mouthwash lands. You know, like an advert style with a brand sticking out on the side of the hedge.
I in wolf form, like a raised eyebrow.
All right, I'm gonna throw. Oh, fantastic! So now that I'm in and I'm established, I'm gonna give a good perception. You know, sniff the air, listen to the sound, see if I did make a little bit of noise coming through the windows to see if somebody's coming, kind of thing.
Okay, give me the perception check. You get +2 for that.
6.
Okay, six
successes.
Jesus, yes.
Boom.
Okay, Christ. Okay,
This makes up for the fact that I didn't see shit at the nightclub.
Okay, right. So you wait and you listen. There is someone up here on the second floor in a room or something, a bedroom area. There's a bit of moving around. It sounds like bed sheets may be moving, and a bit of shuffling around in slippers. Not a huge amount. There is the sound of the TV downstairs. Some BBC, Gardener's World, late rerun of Gardener's World in the middle of the night. You think it's gone? It's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, and this guy is downstairs watching the TV. This is all very nice and eveningly lit, but why is he up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Well, maybe he's the carer. I don't know. There is also something else. This place may not be very used, but the bathroom is fully plumbed up. It's a proper bathroom. There's a faint noise through the pipes. Not like the noise of rats coming up the pipes, but a noise that's coming from somewhere further down through the pipes that sounds slightly grisly. Like, I don't know if you've ever fed meat into a mechanical grinder.
Yes.
Distant noise that's a little bit like that. Not quite mechanical though, but there's a sort of slightly. You have to really strain to hear it. Somewhere down there, something unpleasant, something to some flesh.
You said he's over the kitchen, right, Chris?
He may be. Yeah, probably. I think he's probably over the kitchen. Now, while you're there, then you hear a shuffling. For that shuffling from the bedroom, and it intensifies. It comes out. Doesn't come into the view of the door of the bathroom, but it obviously comes out the room. And a woman's voice, older woman, a little bit tremulous, but quite I'm not gonna say posh, but quite well mannered. Says, Derek, and you hear noise downstairs. Derek, is something a matter? Doesn't sound like she's coming to the bathroom or anything, but there's a slight.
I was like,
tone.
I hear them outside the bathroom, so I'm gonna kind of. You said I can tell the bathroom doesn't really get used like it should. I'm gonna duck into the tub.
Okay, so you pop into the tub. Now downstairs, the rest of the pack.
Trying to give myself a little bit of cover.
Downstairs, the rest of the pack, you can see through the big window onto the garden from where you're lurking in the darkness. The guy downstairs, he's obviously. You hear Derek. He stands up, and he. Oh, Ag, I'm coming through your speakers a bit for some reason. I don't know why I'm doubling through suddenly. He gets up hurriedly, and he looks a bit caught off guard, and he looks wild-eyed. Just from this, he looks kind of slightly wild-eyed and twitchy. Like you think, you might think, is he on drugs or something? And he goes up, he calls up, goes, one second, and he starts to come upstairs.
Can I make an empathy roll? Did he look like he was afraid?
Yeah, give me wits plus empathy. Stormbringer, you hear someone come up the stairs. He goes, yes, ma'am. And the woman goes, is something awry? I haven't sensed. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. Are the doors all locked, Derek? Did you make sure you locked the doors? I'll go and check. Okay, it's fine. I'll go and check. And you hear him coming down there. So what was the empathy roll result?
1 success.
Yeah, like his whole body language is really strung out. But you don't think it is drugs. You think he's just something's wrong, but it's not drugs. He is a little bit afraid, you think. And he goes downstairs, and you see him check the back doors onto the patio, and he goes for and check the front doors.
Do I get a heavier smell of rat off of the woman, since she's relatively close to me, and now I'm assuming not behind a door?
You are not getting a heavier smell of rat, no.
Okay.
She doesn't smell massively healthy, but, you know.
Right, but she smells mostly human.
Yes, there is a scent of rat in general around the place, but she's not giving an intense pungency.
Right, I'm going to lay there quietly.
Okay,
or crouch there quietly.
So the rest of the pack, your Alpha, your Rahu has gone through a window and is hiding in the bathroom, but apparently nothing else is happening at the moment. So what's the plan?
I'm gonna lean to the Hunter in Darkness, who's the leader of this hunt, and say, would you like me to take control of the doors and windows of this house?
Yeah, we're gonna need to do a kill box for
Okay.
when we break the host.
In which case I turn into Darrow and put my hand on the door, on the wall, while I'm still in the darkness of, not in the light of the big window, and activate all doors. What's it called? All doors locked. Gift from warding.
Okay, spend the essence. You now have control of. You're aware of all doorways. Yes, this place does have a cellar, among other things, and there's an access point to the cellar outside as well. It's
we lost Ag's video for a moment.
Sorry, something happened. My baby clicked something weird.
That's
She
fine.
waved. She waved a foot and clicked on something. Oh, there we go.
That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So you are aware of all the doors and windows. There is a cellar and a cellar access on the outside down here. You don't have vision or anything, as it were, but you now have control of whether they're open or locked, and you can change it as you see fit.
Okay, so I inform Johnny that there is a cellar here, and the entrance is there.
Okay.
Chris, really quickly,
Open it if you want.
Jack is going to flip open his cell phone and turn it to silent that it doesn't vibrate. And then I'm going to shoot a text out to them.
Yep.
Old woman, Guy Derek, can drive to door. And that's it. Just
And-
very quietly.
Yep. So that pings up over. You can see over outside the house the two flaps of the cellar outside cellar access just open as she presumably opens them to show you where it is. There was a lock on there, but you didn't unlock it. There's a lock nearby there. Like obviously someone had it locked, but the lock was no longer attached. So it's easy. It's just a moment of will to open it up.
I'm going to shift to Urshul form, and I'm going to stalk towards the cellar door.
So maybe we want to get our Rahu with us too.
The Rahu up in the bath. You hear Derek comes. I've checked the doors and windows. It's everything's fine. I haven't seen anything. And the woman goes, "Well, call Maul anyway, just in case." And then heads back to the bedroom.
What did she say?
Call Maul anyway, just in case. And then you hear the
That
beeping
sounds like
downstairs.
something I'm going to have fun with.
You hear the beeping downstairs as the guy's obviously working his phone to send a text or something. Okay, so Thraker was stalking towards the cellar, was that?
Yeah.
Okay, and now there is the doors both wafted open. There is now, and it's fresh. This has happened. Was happening or has happened since you got here. There is a grisly smell of mulched person coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Looking in the dark, there is a small cellar. It is it's a small bit of wine cellar there, just tiny, like a little rack. A few other things that you keep in a cellar, random tools and things, old brickwork. There is also a substantial amount, including several of the same kind of types of unit, of meat, like grinding stuff, like how you would grind sausages and things. Those are not where the smell is coming from, but just like in the there's a reek now, fresh reek of rat, and like in the club, there is a sort of organic smear of residue on the floor, and flecks of chewed up a few last flecks of chewed up flesh. This place is unfortunately quite perforated, with places rats could hide into go into nooks and stuff here. So if you had to guess, the person came in here, the rats ate the possessed body, and have then,
I rolled 4 successes on my stealth roll as I approached the cellar doors.
Martha, I'm going to assume that we got your cell phone number before we came. Most likely.
That would make sense, yes.
Okay, so you're the only one right now in human form, correct?
Well, Dalu, but yes, humanish.
Human enough to use a cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have gotten the text that says that I'm upstairs and ready to herd people down to you.
Yep. So you've received that. The others, you've seen the guy downstairs tapped on the phone, but then he hasn't gone to set. He's now pacing back and forth.
Do I see him make the
I'm
call?
saying that
Chris, I know it's a little late, but can I use whatchamacallit? My evasion.
Oh, the one that makes them isolated?
No. I want to try to intercept the text, but I would have to shift out.
If you would have to shift out, 1 sec, then you won't. But why would you need to shift? Can't you do it in Erhan?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really have a cell phone to send it to.
Fog
is my
of
point.
War.
Text Virahu back to say that Thornbreaker, yes, went down to the cellar.
Okay, so I think you can just try and use it.
Okay.
You don't have to be inhuman or anything.
And
And you are trying to get text.
Yeah, I'm trying to get whatever text this guy is sending. Really quick question. Does this count as using a gift against my hunt's sacred prey?
No.
Okay. But I am using it during my auspice moon phase, so that works. +2. Fog of War, Wits plus Subterfuge plus Glory. Wits is 3, which makes it 5. No dots in Subterfuge, which is... Do gifts get penalized like skill rolls do for not having proficiency?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So that's 6, and I'm going to throw a willpower on it.
Okay.
2 successes.
Okay, you have succeeded. You've beat his resistance. Now, you are close enough to obviously, you've pinged him with this. The basic version is it now goes to the wrong person. If you spend a second point of essence, you can choose where the text goes.
All right, I'm going to spend a second point to send it to Marta's phone.
Okay, so Marta's phone pings as the text redirects. It says, what's it going to say? Get over here quick. Flameghast is rattled.
Okay.
And that's what it says. Get over here quick. Flameghast is rattled. And then no, that'll be it. That'll be so.
I forwarded to Rahu, and then add a question mark. Rings any bells?
Just a text. It's just a single letter N.
He's pacing back and forth after sending it. He gets the successful sending thing on his phone. So he goes lights another cigarette. He comes over. He opens the back door of the patio and starts. And it's like pacing. Wait, oh no! I left this truck. Maybe I shouldn't. And he closes it again as he realizes he shouldn't be going out and locks the patio door. And he goes into the kitchen where you can smell the smell of coffee being made at 3 a.m.
How have I now gotten to the edge of the cellar?
Yeah, you found the stairs up to a door at the top of the stairs. Yeah.
Okay. How am I gonna handle this?
That's such a useful gift. Wow.
Yes.
Mhm.
So Thornbreaker's gonna look over at
Johnny thinks we're gonna have to commit some light arson here, boys.
Harmonious
No.
Flame and nods towards the inner door.
I open the door.
Yeah, okay, so ahead of you, the door gently and quietly swings open. From nothing opening it, and you're able to pad up into the smell. Again, low-end smell of, persistent smell of rats, strong smell of cigarettes, and yeah, you are in the hall. This place is, again, it's a wealthier, middle-class old person's home. There's stuff from different countries they've always been to on the walls. There's some crappy, not very expensive paintings, and it has that old person's home feel to it. You know, there are books everywhere, old ones, new ones, on shelves, stacked up in piles where they couldn't go on the shelves.
I follow Thornbreaker inside the house.
You're going to go down into the cellar and then up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow.
I'm gonna
along,
make
too.
a perception roll.
If everyone's coming, I'm closing the cellar door behind us.
Okay. Yep. So perception roll from Thornbreaker at the front. You can hear the agitated tapping of fingers of Derek in the kitchen, brewing up coffee and slurping it down. Upstairs, the woman's apparently gone back into the bed. The bed is creaking slightly as she gets into it, and then you hear Stormbreaker hear the rustle of pages being turned.
So I rolled no successes. Can I turn this into a dramatic failure?
Yes.
I will do so.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a perception roll when you're done describing this. Sorry.
So, Thornbreaker noses his way up because he's the first of the three ahead. He's well ahead of the others. So the other two are sort of coming into the cellar, while Thornbreaker starts casting on you. There's the living room, there's the sitting room at the back, there's another room at the front which has a small dining table in it, and again, like Stormbringer, there's a whole load of stuff here that is almost it's just not used. It's there, but no one is eating at this dining table, apart from a little bit at the end where a bit of a leftover ready meal is from some, from the smell of the middle-aged guy. The only person who appears to be making an awful lot of imprint in this place is the guy downstairs. To the point where there's a pile of ratty cushions in one corner that he's obviously sometimes just bunked down on and gone to sleep. There's a couple of odd smells you're getting around that as well. There are rat smells that are around him, but they just smell like rats that have been around him, not in him. But you're there, podding around, looking at there's a downstairs loo, there's the stuff, and basically you're so distracted by that you are there when this guy steps out the kitchen with a thing of coffee, going, and you're just like there going, he's there. And you turn, he's obviously been there for a few seconds. You haven't flagged it, with like cigarette hanging off his lip. And he goes,
You're a monstrous wolf, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in direwolf form.
Oh, you're direwolf form.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
in Urshul. Yeah.
First thing, he is obviously fucking scared. There is a massive dog. He does not have what you would expect. He looks just shit terrified rather than... There's nothing in his eyes showing lunacy.
Okay.
He goes, nice doggy? And starts to back slowly into the kitchen again.
Can I roll initiative on this?
Yes, I think it might be time to roll initiative.
Okay.
For all of us, or just
For all of us?
For everyone, yeah.
6.
Let me make the roll for this.
I forget how it's just
You roll
straight 10
1d10
and then add
plus
your
your
initiative.
plus your initiative.
Yeah.
I rolled 9.
3, 4, 5. Okay, sorry. So Thornbreaker was on 9.
I got 9 as well.
9 as well.
I'm about to tell you. Sorry about that.
So with Stormbringer and is everyone on 9? Sorry, was that?
Johnny rolled a 16.
Oh no! Hold on a moment. I
just roll 1d10. Don't do the whole formula.
yeah,
And
no,
then you
but
add your.
it does explode in initiative explodes.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't.
Sorry,
Okay. In that case, 14. Sorry.
What was Stormbringer's number again?
9.
9. I guess 9's also. And so what was Ag? What's Marta?
14. Used to explode, and then you would get ridiculous initiative.
Okay, so Johnny, you are up first. You've heard. You're in the cellar. The shape of the direwolf is. You can see at the door is there in the hall, and you hear the nice doggy and the back tread, and then the Urshel coils to move, and you're thinking about to pick off.
What? So does this place have like a looped kitchen, Chris? Like, can I get up and like, are there 2 entrances into the kitchen? Because if he's backing up into the kitchen, I want to try to
there's
get
only one
to the
entrance to the kitchen. Which does mean if he backs into there, the only way out is the window. But you know.
Right. Can I go in and kind of jump on the counter at the window so he can't escape through the window? Like.
Yeah, you can go around there. So basically, if he turns, you'll see the wolf at the window going, "Rah!" Yeah. So you basically backtrack back out, dart out, and up to the on top of the stuff by the window, peering in, and you can see this guy that's about to back in the window. He hasn't noticed you yet, but you're at the window.
I do make as I'm leaving, I turn to Martha and Harmonious Flame. I'm sorry, and I ask her to open that window for me.
Okay, I will have to open the cellar first because I think you came back.
Yeah, but it's reflexive for you to do that. So
okay.
You can just pop those open. So yeah, as you rope back, the cellar door pongs open, and then you're up at the window, and the window is just unlatched and open for you. So then the cold air is breathing in. He's probably about to realise a bit of cold air is coming in and go, like, "What's behind me?" And there'll be another wolf. It's going to be a proper,
Can I jump through the open window now?
I think the distance.
It's too much. Got it.
Not this round. The distance is going to get you.
Do I hear the commotion downstairs?
Yeah, you're about to. Okay, but someone goes before you. You hear the commotion kick off, and then there is noise from the room, and surprisingly, not like superhumanly swiftly, but at reasonable human speed, you hear the flap of the fluffy flippers, and you see standing by the door of the by the bathroom near the top of the stairs this woman. She looks like an old woman, probably in her 60s. Hair's quite sort of curled, silvery color. She is pretty neat. She looks a bit paunchy. She looks unhealthy, but her face is like steel kind of expression, like something's going the fuck down. She is aware of it. She's come to the top of the stairs. She hasn't done anything, but she's keyed in that stuff's happening. Marta.
Oh shit! It's my turn. I'm hanging back to see if they are going to kill this guy or not. So, I defend. Oh.
Right, Thornbreaker, Derek, and Stormbringer are all in the same key. I'm going to run it on Dex order, which means Stormbringer. So Thornbreaker goes first.
Yeah, my dexterity in Rishul is 4.
Yeah, you're going first.
Okay, so this guy backs up and says, "Good doggy," and Thornbreaker has decided he doesn't want this guy to be able to make a noise, so he's going to try to go for his throat. What is his defense?
Oh God.
2.
2? Okay. All right. So
we are killing this poor man.
This poor man. All right. So in Urshul form, I have 5 strength. 5 plus I'm gonna get for the bite. 5 gives me 10. And then I will. I won't spend the button willpower. It's going to be 10 dice. Let me roll that.
4, 8.
2 successes, and then another 2 for the bite damage.
Okay. Are you using your once per scene tilt hit on him for prone, arm rack, or leg rack?
I'm gonna hold off on that for now.
Okay, well, you slam into him. You do, what was it, 5 lethal, was it?
4 lethal.
4 lethal. So you rip into the guy. He's trying to fend you off with his arms, so you don't get the throat, you get his arms, ripping at him. He's shrieking in absolute terror, trying to fend you off. He's not having an awful lot of luck, obviously. What's Stormbringer's deck?
Okay, so Stormbringer is. Swear to God, if you guys judge me for this, I'm going to be so pissed. Stormbringer is going to kind of pull a surprise motherfucker.
He's gonna beat up an old lady.
He's going to sneak up behind. He's going to sneak up behind the old lady.
What is his dex score? Because the
Sneak.
other guy might be going.
Okay. Dex score. So I'm in is 1.
Okay, so Derek is going first.
That's fine.
For as much as it might be helping him. We get that much. He may have a chance of actually getting the fuck out of this situation. 1 second.
Doubtful, but he's welcome to try. I don't think any of us would argue having the chance for a more prolonged hunt.
As he's flaying away from you, he's reaching out with his fingers, and he catches hold of something, and you feel the gauntlet, the incredibly thin, frayed gauntlet here, twist as he physically grabs it with his hands, and like pulls as if like terrified, trying to pull like a protective cloak around him, and he vanishes.
What?
That's a trick.
That's interesting.
So that's what's happened downstairs. That's a point. Do you Thornbreaker?
Yes.
What's your death rage trigger?
Oh.
Oh
no.
Oh no! Blood, isn't it?
It is swallowing human blood.
Okay, well, I'll let you go off this time, but just to be aware, you are feeling the rage thing off it, so it is human blood in your mouth.
Okay.
This guy is human.
You can let me roll. We don't have to soften the blow here.
If you'd got an arterial hit on the throat, I probably would have said you were accidentally guzzling down the red tap of blood. But as it is, you were just tearing at him, so he was okay.
Which ones are we affected by right now, Chris? Just specific?
Just specifics. So, Stormbringer, you are now up.
Okay. What is the old lady's dex or defense?
Wait, give me a.
Guys, please don't howl right now.
If you're trying to go for it, you can make a stealth check to see if she doesn't detect you. In which case, her defense will be 0. But if she does detect you, then she will have a defense, whatever that happens to be.
Okay.
So if you're trying to get her before she realizes you can try a dex plus stealth check.
One success on a stealth check.
Okay, unfortunately that's not enough against her perception. So
Okay,
she
so
is
what's
aware
her-
you're coming. Her defense is 8.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
She's clearly not just an old lady.
Yeah, seriously. This may not make a difference. Nope, no successes. I try to grab her and completely whiff.
So you come out the dark and go for her, and she steps away from you with, again, it's not superhuman speed, but fast reflexes, and like frowning like
down the stairs.
but frowning in a genuinely like, why the fuck is there a guy coming out my bathroom at me way,
As I miss and fall down the stairs.
Okay, we are back up to the top of the chain. Johnny,
So
you've just seen this
Am
guy.
I able to make that a dramatic failure and actually like fall down the stairs when I miss?
Yes, if you want.
I'd like to do that.
So take 3 bashing damage as you go. Whoa! She steps over. Wham, bam, 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 bam. So Johnny, you've just heard someone falling down the stairs, and Thornbreaker and Flame can see you come tumbling down the stairs. Johnny, you are up. This guy has just grabbed the gauntlet, which you feel move. Again, it's not being triggered. It's not your prey doing.
Oh, hold on.
Shivers.
She's not part of the prey, is she?
She's not your prey, and she's not trying to stop you getting to the prey, so she's not in the way. She's literally, she's accidentally kind of someone you're going for, but she's not between you and the prey.
Gotcha.
So you get the bonus. So you take 3 bashing damage. You remember you heal 1 around as you fall down and lie prone at the bottom of the stairs, going, "That did not go as planned."
Just that old bitch.
I'm gonna jump through and spend my action just switching to Dalu, because Johnny kind of wants to start lighting the stove in case we have to commit arson to kill the host.
Yep.
If we blow it up.
Okay. Yep. No, you swap 3, and you're into swinging into Dalu.
Ag is judging us.
At the top of the stairs, Stormbringer, you see this woman like standing at the top of the stairs, looking down at you, and she stands. She's in a slightly guarded position. Again, unusual for a doddery old woman woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, apparently faced with us. And you're in Dalu, aren't you, as well? I think, or
yes.
You're human. Yeah. So she can see she's not reacting with lunacy. And she looks down and goes, "Who are you, and what are you doing in my house?" That's her action, and sort of trying to dodge. Marta. And you hear this woman from upstairs. So...
Well, who are these incompetent wolves? Oh my god, what is this going on? Okay, well, I don't want to like fight these people. I am now in the basement. I'm still in the basement, so I'm going to give them like one more chance to deal with this before I step in to do talking. So I'm gonna spend this round looking around to see if, like, where are the rats?
You can't see any rats. You're swinging around the turn, looking around, and you see no rats.
Any places where they might be hiding?
The cellar, they could have gone all over the place into like between the walls and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But there are no rats currently poking their heads out.
Okay,
Frankly, they're probably just going, "Well, we'll let these bozos do what they're doing," you know.
I'll back away closer to Thornbreaker then.
Okay, Thornbreaker. Your prey just pulled the gauntlet around him and vanished.
So I'm gonna peer across the gauntlet and see where this guy.
He's not on the other side.
The hell is going on? So Thornbreaker, it seems, in his direwolf form, is looking around, looking completely baffled by what just happened.
Wait, if you tasted his blood, don't you know the general direction which way he went now? I think that's a benefit.
Yes, you would, and he's okay. The direction is error, I guess. Your thing is telling you he's still here. I mean, he's not physically there. You know, he poked there. He's not like just. He hasn't crossed over, but he's still here. But he's also not here.
He's trapped between the gauntlet.
He's probably in the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thornbreaker basically is there going, what the fuck? It's now his turn. Nothing happens. Stormbringer.
Against my better judgment.
Oh no.
Going to stand up. He's going to brush his shoulder off as shifting down into Hishu. Look up the stairs at the old woman. Slowly, as he's going to take like one step up, and I'm going to look at her, and I'm going to no lies, no nothing. We're not here for you. We're looking for the rats.
Okay. New round.
Because I wasn't going to like hit her. I was trying to grapple her.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty obvious by the way he totally like whipped the air.
She's not like going for you or backing away. She's hearing what you're saying. New round, Johnny.
I don't know if I was able to light the stove the last round.
That'll be this round. You start fiddling around with that. It is a stove. You're lucky it's a gas stove. So
and as soon as I light it, I'm gonna switch to Rishul. Just spending the turn to shapeshift after.
Okay, so it's good. The heat. Then that thing is. I mean, it was on just now for the kettle. The guy made.
Oh, I didn't realize there's. And then never mind.
No, it was on. It's off again. You've just been turning it back on. Then you're inertial. Okay. the old woman, you see her, Stormbreaker, she presses like an emergency call button around her neck, hanging there, like an old woman would have from these carriers. And she looks at you, narrowed eyes, and goes, Derek, you'd better not have hurt Derek. She does not look like she is messing about.
I smirk slightly.
I don't want to have to get another one.
I smirk slightly, look at Thornbreaker.
Thornbreaker at this point has sat down in the kitchen, narrowed his eyes, and is licking his chops.
I'm gonna look back at the old woman.
Okay. The question is, are we at this point falling out of combat then? Because the people downstairs are looking confused. Are you going to go for it, or are we dropping out of combat for now?
We could
I think for the time being, we'll drop out of combat.
Okay, so we drop out of combat. So so you guys are there waiting. So there's two Urshel in the kitchen, which is quite crowded at this point. Then the downstairs, then we have the Ironmaster, and then the part on the stairs is Stormbringer. Yes.
I'm gonna take another step up.
I
don't.
She says,
I believe he's okay. We haven't killed him. He will live.
There is she sort of, you see her narrowing her eyes. You can sense with the 100 Dark's power there is a gauntlet fluctuation. And a few moments later, because there's a slight odd distorting of space, partly because of where you are, so that it's pushing back out, and there's a gauntlet ripple. Derek reappears in the kitchen, like bleeding and looking, horrified, and trying to back into a corner.
I'm in that corner. I'm just like.
Can I was gonna say, I can't reach him where I am. Can I?
Sorry, I didn't know what you said, Stormbringer.
I said I can't reach him through the doorway. Can I?
You could come. I mean, you could step back and go back and grab him and haul him through if you want.
I'm gonna step back and pull him out of the kitchen before those two can eat him.
So you pull him up past the wolves, and Derek, good.
I'm gonna carry him up the stairs and put him down at the top of the stairs, like keeping him between me and her, and then back down to the halfway point of the stairs.
Well away as you come up. So once you've done that, goes, well, I'm glad to see Derek is mostly intact.
Like I said, we're not here for you. We're here for the rats.
She's sort of like poker facing it as best she can. She is. What was I going to say? I hoped when I'd retired that I'd avoid situations like this happening again.
Retired?
Yes, the last thing I wanted was a bunch of wolves breaking into my nest and smearing your smell everywhere.
Your nest?
She shrugs. Call it whatever word you want. What led you here? You said rats?
What are you? Quid pro quo. And I smirk. Because that's probably the most advanced saying he knows.
You're new. I'm the Flameghast. This is my retirement patch. You are Aratha. Where the fuck did you lot come from? It's a lovely old lady.
Flameghast doesn't ring a bell. What would I roll to see if that rings a bell at all?
Ghast is sometimes is a word associated with ghosts or spirits or other things, but it's not a spirit name per se. So
right.
It doesn't mean anything in and of itself. Sorry, term.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of is it's slightly related to Mizgast, but I doubt any relation past that.
No, I'm thinking more mage.
You.
That was out of character thinking more mage.
It's undisturbed, and now a pack piling in through where however you got in here. She's on edge, very much on edge, like flexing her hands. Her posture, again, it's very physical. She's not like just standing there stiff backed. She's almost slightly animalistic in her sort of manner. You should. Rats led you here.
I'm gonna turn to the guys and whistle quick. Out.
Derek, she grabs Derek and with considerable strength, not superhuman strength again, helps pull him back. Derek, go clean yourself up. Who's out for me? Who's led you here?
There was a problem.
I switched to Hishu form. And I'm gonna come out.
No, I like out of the house, out.
No, I'm making myself known to this old woman. Is my point.
Okay, so you're appearing in the hall as a human.
Yeah.
She looks again.
I love that my people don't listen.
Yep.
I closed the
didn't
the
hear what
door
you said,
to the
I'm sorry.
basement. I closed the door to the basement behind me as I walk inside the house, and I also turn into his shoe.
I
Thornbreaker
think you
remains in Urshul form and comes and sits down near the base of the stairs.
I think you
I'm
should.
trying to negotiate here, boys.
I think
Yeah,
you should.
he's not
go.
attacking anyone.
You've come into my nest uninvited, wolves, and I have done nothing to you. I have not harmed you. I don't know if you're claiming this place now, but I've done nothing to.
Track Beshlu here.
We have no issue
If you're
with you
harboring
being here,
Beshlu,
so
that
long as you
provokes
don't interfere with
ire.
our business. However,
business.
we have been led here by one of our prey, so they somehow seem to believe that you're involved or could protect them. The less you want to deal with us, the easier it is for you to just point us in the correct direction. Their stink is all over your cellar.
You don't know who's brought you here?
We have a general idea.
Who could have found me? Why now? But I've done nothing. I've built no power here. There would be nothing for them to take.
Sounds like the best course of action for us right now is to work together. We'll forget you exist, you forget we exist. Hi, tiny human.
2 tiny humans.
Does you forgetting me exist involve you leaving my nest?
We'll leave your nest alone. It can stay where it is, in the middle of our territory, under our protection. The only time we will come and talk with you or interact with you is if what our business is crosses you directly, as it has tonight. However, we will do it a little more diplomatically.
Someone hammers on the door, and a throat that is not even slightly human says, "Gast, rattly, really sort of thing is. I have come to the. I have come with your call. I come." Which now, to be clear, Johnny, you definitely redirected that text.
Yep.
Someone at the door goes, "Maul is here. Do you need protecting? Where are the frenemies? Where are the threats?"
Jack is going to instinctively shift up into Dalu.
What does this
Because-
guy look like? Can we see him?
No, the door's closed. You haven't seen out the door. Flameghast is literally just curses under her breath in first tongue. It basically says the equivalent of shit in first tongue. But in a kind of possibly, Derek, did you call him? Yeah, yes, no, I texted him. He's come. Werewolves, you should leave out the back door now. Yes, you should go now, I think.
I squint. Not squint, but narrow my eyes. I haven't gotten what I came for.
Gast, the voice comes. The call came, but it was not from the burrow cultist, not from the pathetic one. Who else serves you? Who did you get? Who brought me here? If it was not he, is he well? Are you harmed? Gast, answer me. And she said that.
Send him away.
I'm here. I'm fine. What do you mean? I have no other servants, just you and Derek. No one else would call. No, someone else. It rang. I came. She's looking a bit confused.
How does he get alerted?
And there's this sort of tense sort of stand on Jake's of. I don't. Lady, I will enter. I do not know if they harm you. Do they threaten you? I will come. No, it's fine. You should not enter. No, I will come. Are they harm? Do they harm you? Do they stop you? And something scrapes on the front door.
Someone
This thing comes to the front
the
door.
Situation to mean you harm, and us.
Just so you all know, once this thing comes to the front door, Stormbringer's going Garu and ripping this thing apart.
Thornbreaker in first tongue just mutters "cellar," and starts trotting. Turns in the crowded section at the bottom of the stairs and trots towards the cellar.
Yes, so the door opens up nicely for you. Now the question: so someone is now rattling at the front door. You hear the noise of someone fumbling difficultly with the key. So the question is the front door being locked despite the fact they have a key, or are you allowing them to come in?
It's locked. He just said that he's gonna fight it when it comes in, so I'm keeping the door locked.
Okay, so they try and open the door. There's a crunching and nobbing, and they go, "They are locked. They offend. They harm. I must come." And she's going, "No, don't come in." And then you hear the noise outside kick in of something like clattering, metallic. So where is everyone? So Thornbreaker is about to head into the cellar. Stormbringer is partway up the stairs trying to negotiate with this woman. I believe that both Johnny and Marta are in the hall still.
Yeah. I was next to Thornbreaker, but I shifted to Urshul now.
Okay, now I have a question because it's quarter past. It's quarter past. I don't know what time it is, but we're about 3.25 hours in. Do we want to play a little bit longer, or do we want to finish up now?
If we could wrap up now, that would be great. It's also kind of a suspenseful moment.
It's a good time.
So I think it works.
It's a suspenseful moment.
The rattling out there coughs, and kicks in as you hear the chainsaw fire up.
Oh no!
Yes!
There's a ripping noise as I come to help as this thing chainsaws through the door, and through it comes a Bishilu hybrid.
Oh god!
In full, rat man, this twisted, warped, lean, whip-thin thing with pestilent swords, crazed eyes, and a chainsaw in its hands. As it chainsaws crashing through the door, goes, "I come, mistress! I come to protect the nest!" And that is where we will leave the first session of Possession.
So she's special.
With not right now, Kitty. With Kitty, not right now, thank you. With a Bishilu with a chainsaw coming through the door, the pack in the house, the mystery of who exactly led you, what Bishilu led you here, and everything about to kick off. So it is aspirations time. We're going to start with we'll start with Marta.
Oh, Marta, you're still muted.
Yeah, I was saying she's.
Yes, I just noticed. Sorry. So I have destroyed the person and the cult that is in here.
Sorry, what was that? You have destroyed. Okay, yeah, but you haven't really made any progress on that. So
well, I've met them.
Okay, fine. I'll give you a beat because you actually turned up.
Then find the creator wolf's lair. So I haven't done anything else apart from arriving in the area.
Yep, that's not enough.
Use a gift. Yes.
Yes.
I used.
Okay.
Use a gift.
Use 2. Yeah. She has quite a few because she's got 4 different gifts unlocked, so she's got various powers to throw. Okay, so that's 2 from us. So next in my list is Johnny. What are Johnny's aspirations looking like?
I don't think Johnny pulled off any of his aspirations today.
Okay.
I was not expecting the hunt to
we
kick off.
always shift things up for next time a bit. Stormbringer, any aspirations hit?
So I only had 2 this week because I could not think of a third. Now that we have direction, I will modify these as necessary. Didn't spend any time working on a glass representation. Didn't make any moves towards removing the folks harassing Jenny. Although, do these people count? Does this new hunt count towards that because they're now harassing Jenny and her family?
Because they're not the same thing that you triggered off there. That will be very relevant coming in the future sessions. But yeah. Finally, Thornbreaker.
So my first one is earn more glory. I didn't do anything towards that today. The second one is develop a deeper connection with Jenny, which I think I did fulfill today as we're revealing more of the deeper world here. My third one is fulfill my role as a source of inspiration for the pack. I don't know. So one of the questions is, do we already consider Jenny sort of the pack, or do we not?
Jenny is a pack outrider. I don't think we consider her part of the pack yet.
She's not a pack member yet. No.
All right.
She could become one, but she's not one yet.
Roger
okay,
that.
well, you had You had some
What-
beats left over at the end of last.
Before we go there, did we fulfill? Are we working on the totem one? Gather a warband because we
Yes.
are bringing.
Because we did recruit Martha.
Yeah.
Martha.
We recruited Martha. We also took more steps towards bringing Jenny into the pack.
Yeah, I'll give one. That actually gives you quite a few beats. You had a number of beats left over from last time. You've made some more beats this time. Now you need 20 beats to get an XP each now because there's 4 of you, but you have a total of 29. So that gives 1 more XP for everybody and 9 beats left over for next time.
Oh yeah.
Next time we will start with presumably a fight as the chainsaw wielding hybrid comes in down the corridor. Whatever the older lady is, does whatever she's going to do, and the poor actual just human guy, who obviously has some occult powers, but is just some human guy, is probably going to do the same thing he did just now and hide in the gauntlet.
All right, I'm no longer in debt.
Nice, no longer XP for you.
I have
so
one.
We will leave it there for today. Thank you very much, viewers, and stay tuned next week. Hopefully at the same time. Is everyone good for next week?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing every other week.
No,
No,
we're gonna do every week.
Okay.
I will.
I am not good for next week unless somebody wants to roll for me. I will be in a truck driving to Texas.
Okay.
It's possible we'll be able to, but probably better not if you're going to be driving. It's better if you keep focused on the road, I think.
We'll follow up and we'll send out some stuff over social media about whether or not we'll be here next week, and if not, we'll continue the following week.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for stopping by. This video will be up on YouTube by the end of the day. Obviously, for those of you that are just joining us for the first time today and may have missed stuff from Story 1, all that stuff's on YouTube. You can do some catch up and see what sort of hijinks and misadventures we've gotten ourselves into up to this point.
I promised we were a lot more competent then.
So thanks again.
We did pretty well.
Thanks again for stopping by. We're going to have our little play out here, and then we will see you guys next time. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye-bye.
Bye.